Hello, my name's Andrew Dean and welcome to In Focus. In Focus is an amazing gimmick. It gives you the ability to switch items, billets, cards, money, anything you want you can switch at any time. Not only that, you can make items appear, decks of cards, Rubik's Cubes, anything you want you can make appear. It is that good. It leaves you clean at the end, and I've been showing you the gimmick. So here all the time we have one card and one card only, and it is the card you signed. That was brilliant, thank you. In Focus has been a staple of my professional repertoire for a long time. It's quick, it's punchy, and it's guaranteed to get those reactions where your audience will remember the trick long after you've left the table. And one card here, if you take those, what was your card that you signed? It was? Take it and have a look.
How did you do that?
Oh.
It's magic!
I'm Andrew Dean, and this is In Focus.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. How the devil are you?
I'm pretty good indeed. How are you?
I'm good. I'm enjoying the nice weather again after the bit of rubbish rain we've had. So I thought I'd brighten myself up and wear a nice flowery shirt this evening.
Oh, you're looking lovely. Would you do me a big favour? Will you put that fez on?
For you?
Yeah, go on.
Anything for you.
Oh, you've got to keep it on for the full show.
You think so?
Yeah.
I've had a trim, so I can't get the sides out. So
we've had
I'll
we've
compromise. There you go.
We've had a few questions about your goldfish.
Right, okay.
Yeah. What are they called, and what have you got?
There's two goldfish. Well, they're not really goldfish, really. One's got spots on, and the other one's got stripes on. No idea. Okay. You can tell I'm a biologist, can't you? My little boy named them. One is Optimus Prime, and the other one's Bumblebee.
Ah, right. Go. Okay. So
we could have a competition. Nobody would have guessed those names, so you'd have been fine.
So how have you been keeping? How's your week been?
It's good. It's good. You and I are both members of Blackpool Magic Club, and they had the fabulous David Williamson lecture. So
brilliant.
That was fabulous. That was really good. It inspired me because obviously we're talking about tables and things in previous ones and changing my show and all that sort of thing. And you know when you just hit a wall and you're like, I just need to be doing something different and changing. Yeah. So David Williamson actually gave us a discount code for a magic lesson.
Okay.
So I thought, you know what? I'll go and do it. Because I mean, to spend an hour in the presence of brilliance, I know people get it for free here.
Yeah.
But so I paid and had a chat with him. And we didn't do a single trick. We didn't.
Right,
we spoke for about an hour and a half. We did no magic whatsoever. It was talking about sort of creating something bigger out of something smaller and the hooks and everything else, and he sort of covered what Mark Alboran sort of covered with regards to the
So
lines.
did you ask him?
and stuff.
Did you ask him for your money back?
I
What
said,
it
no,
all
I said it
before?
last week. We're all right. Tell you what, though, if you're thinking about it, go for it. I mean, it's fabulous. I mean, I come away. Well, I've spoke to you afterwards, and I'm like, oh, I'm inspired again. I mean, I think sometimes you just need to have a chat, don't you, with somebody that's outside your normal circle, and they go, "That's what you need to
Yeah,
do."
yeah.
So,
Absolutely, yeah. And I guess somebody like David Williamson, who has got a load of ideas, is kind of, like you said, he's just put you on that right kind of channel, because you can hear it a million times from your friends who you trust as being great magicians. But when you hear it off somebody else, you just, you trust it, I guess. Even though,
yeah, I
you know what I
think because I actually paid for it as well.
mean? You had to get your money's worth.
Yeah, you kind of get your money's worth, but I don't know. I think because you and I talk about magic all the time, I sometimes feel like I'm sort of intruding on your downtime when I go, can we talk about a stage act? And I don't, I know you'd be fabulous, and you'd go, yeah, basically the other end, you'd be like that, la 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 la.
Yeah, and Andy's on the phone. He's talking about a stage show or something.
Yeah.
What's going on about?
Just talk
What?
to the cat.
Talk to the cat.
Yeah, so I just think, honestly, worth every penny. Really is. I mean, if you want the details, let me know. I don't know whether the discount code still applies. So if you get in touch, if you want to message me, I'm sure I can. If I message David and say, "Can we use this discount code?" He might say, "Yeah," and we can.
Andy, that was your perfect opportunity to tell him that we needed him on the Magic Jam.
Well, I did sort of mention it, and he said he was going to have a look. So, and we're still in contact. So
He
we've
won't.
got
He
a.
won't.
He might do. You never
He
know.
won't.
Listen, we've had Harry Robson. We've had Harry Robson. We've had Harry Nardi. We've had Etienne Pradier. We've had Mark Olbram, Matt Wright. I mean, we're up there. We can get the big boys. I mean,
Yeah,
David
absolutely.
Cochran keeps ringing me. I'm going to be honest. He keeps ringing me, and I'm like, David, don't be needy. So
leave me alone, David. Get out of my garden, David.
Get out of my garden, David.
Gee whiz.
Keep not seeing me, right?
We've got lots of people saying hello. Hello, everybody. We've got look at that. Gareth Whitty was online first. Hey, Gareth. Hope you're keeping well.
Look at you.
We've
Hello,
got
Willie Mac.
Hi, Willie. Jack. Hi, Jack. You let me down earlier, Jack. Only very lightly. Didn't really. We've got Dean Duggan. Hi, Dean.
Dean. Fabulous
Martin
name, Dean.
Lowenbaum. David Hand.
Oh, yeah.
Simon Keane. Hi, Simon.
Oh, Simon's got a picture of me on his as his profile.
He's a big fan. We've got Caroline Gutenabend. Gutenabend. I have no idea what that means.
German. She's German. Guten Abend.
Guten. Willie Mac. Willie. Hello, everybody.
We're saying hello to each other. You'll be there all day. You'll be like,
I know. I'm going to go through them all until we get to the bitter end. That's it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, Anthony's a mystery. Look at Anthony. Anthony's just a mystery.
He's a fragment of your imagination. He's new here. Hi, Anthony. If you're new, welcome along. Yeah, cool. This is basically it, Anthony. We just stand here, not really talking about anything.
Right, Timothy Stannard, right, is one of the funniest people I know.
Okay.
The man's had me in stitches in the Rosalie next to the Ruskin in Blackpool.
Yeah.
He always goes to the convention every year. And do you know what? I'm gonna tell you the story. So basically, we were in the Rosalie. We were doing the tricks as you do, and somebody came over, showed him a trick, and then they said, and then we got into a debate about sponge bowls. And Tim stood up, proud as punch. Andy, I piss sponge balls. just like this. So every time I see his name now, that's all I think about. Happy SpongeBob.
Blimey heck. Is that where they come from then? So is he the official dealer for sponge balls?
Yeah. If you want any sponge balls, he does 2-inch and 4-inch super soft.
I don't want to know where the 4-inch comes from.
Oh, he went downhill early.
Oh, dear. Yeah, we've proper killed it. We've got Kenneth from the United States. Hi, Kenneth.
Hello.
Kenneth, I'd love to know what time it is where you are, Kenneth. What time is it in the States right now?
It's midday, so it's about.
Oh, it says it's midday. All right. Sorry, I missed that. Hi, Kenneth. Hope you're keeping well. And then Timothy's finally just rounded it off by saying he doesn't even do sponge balls.
Oh dear, yeah. No, if you get a chance to check his videos out, they're amazing. His close-up table is his ironing board. It's amazing. Here at the close-up table.
Gareth says you can't diss a sponge ball. You can't. It's made my career, like these little sponge balls. They're in my shows, they're in my close-up. They used to be in my kids' shows. They are amazing. You can't diss a sponge ball. I'm with you on that, Gareth. You can't beat a sponge ball. You can't. They're amazing.
Yeah,
it's 3 where Kenneth is right now. So, yes.
Very nice.
So, Andy, have you seen anything new and interesting with magic? Anything standing out to you at all? Or?
Well, I've got to be honest with you. I've not really done a great deal this week. I've been the Post Fairy this week. I've been all these lovely people that have bought Instacart. I'm the one that's been writing all your envelopes out and sending all those out for you, lovingly sticking them and sending them in the post. So they should be arriving anytime shortly if you've not got them already. So hopefully we'll be seeing some videos of people performing and coming up with their own idea. I've got to be honest, that's the nicest thing I like about it. People coming up with their own ideas and that sort of thing. And we've got a few ideas which we're going to run through today of one of our older effects. So if you've got it, get it out, have a look. It's the casino card. It's Wallet King.
Yeah.
So we'll be running through that because we've had a few new ideas with it because we're always messing, and especially now you've got to perform online. I did a show, hence why my things are still up. I did a show. If you want to have a quick look, there you go. I've not really moved a great deal. I did a show this afternoon for an hour. And I'll be honest, I use Wallet King. It's a great way to force any card, well, one of 6 cards, rather than having to, because if you're going like this all the time to the camera, so I want you to just choose a card, just any one of those. It looks the same. Whereas if you get your wallet out and then you talk about your casino and this sort of thing and all, it's a different narrative and you can talk about it and perform it and it's different. And so we've got a few ideas which we'll run through later.
Well, I think we should have a little look at it. If you bring it up, let's talk a little bit about it. So this is Wallet Hacker. Me and Andy came up.
Yeah. So as you can see on the back, there we go. So you've got, this is where you'd put your signature. So you can see, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do one really quickly, Joel. Are you ready?
Okay, right, hang on. Before you do it, wait there, hang on. You're very eager. You're eager.
I'm an eager beaver.
On the card, it's a casino membership card, and it's designed to basically look like a standard membership card. You've got a little signature spot there that you can fill in. And with this one little card, we've come up with around about, how many routines would you say we've got now, Andy, for this? About 6 or 7 different routines?
Yeah, well, there's 6 cards, and we've come up with a routine for each of the cards, and maybe 2 or 3 extra. So yeah, 7, 8 routines that you've got with just this one card. You can do mind reader, you can do a visual transformation. I mean, if you want to do the visual thing.
Hang on. So the spectators believe that they've got a choice of one. Well, we designed the cards so there are around about 35 to 40 different playing cards that they could actually think of.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you want, there you go. That's it. So there's lots and lots of variations there. So there is lots of variation, so you can actually see. There we go. Lots of cards. Now on the back, you don't have to. I'm getting old. You don't have to remember all the cards that have been forced because we've cleverly written them all on the back for you. Once you know where they are, cleverly.
We've cleverly. We haven't done anything clever ever.
Without necessity, because I'm like, I can't remember all the cards. I'm getting old. Yeah. So when I'm displaying it like this,
Okay.
I'm just running through the cards in my head.
Yeah.
And doing it that way. So it's a fabulous utility tool that you can have in your. It takes up no pocket space. You can have it on you at any point, whether you're in real life, because you're not having to get people to hold it, to shuffle cards or anything like that. You can do this at a distance. You know, your arm's length. You do it at a distance, and you can do it that way. And then if you're over the internet, you can do it over the internet.
Yeah.
Do
you want to do a little performance of it?
I don't want to know.
You're bored of it.
Right, you ready? So I'm gonna you'll have to stay on, Joel. There we go. So are you ready? Just think of one of the cards. In fact, if you're watching, you can think of one of the cards as well. Flash. Someone's just said flash. So I don't know whether it's an instruction.
No, your nipple fell out. That was all.
Or my third one. We don't talk about the third one.
Come on, show me the trick.
You ready? So, you ready? Just think of one of the cards.
Okay, I've got one.
You have one?
Yep.
You do? Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to go black card.
It is.
Yeah, you see? And I'm going to go. It's a low one.
It is.
Yeah, you ready? So you could have had any on there. So if we take it like this, your two of spades.
Well done.
Completely disappears.
That's brilliant. That's really good. We didn't plan that, by the way. Anybody who's watching,
No, we didn't plan it. It was genuine.
That's really good. That is the routining of it. The routining of it naturally just kind of leads you to that. Have you set up the packet of playing cards? I don't know if you have. What we were talking about last night.
Yeah. I can go through.
Can we do that?
And do them.
Okay, cool. Right. Okay. Let's do it on me because we can't get anybody on now.
Okay.
Genuinely going to go for a random card as well.
Okay. Well, if you want, as they come up, if whoever's the quickest typer puts the card in that they see.
No, hang on. Let's designate somebody. Let's go for Jack.
Jack Waller.
Yeah, Jack Waller.
Are you ready? Jack, look at one of those cards.
Lock one in mind, Jack.
You got one, Jack? Now this is where we wait for Jack. Now, Jack.
It could take a long time. Come on, Jack.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. To speed things up, Joel.
Jack's on it, Jack.
Jack's on it. I'm on it. Come on, Jack. Don't let me down, Jack. He's got one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Move the cards back a little bit. Yeah.
Now, Jack, psychologically speaking, Jack, you're not going to go for a red one because Joel chose a black. No, you chose a black one, didn't you? So you're going to go for a red one. So, Jack, you're going to go for a red one, Jack. Now, Jack, I'm going to cut to your card.
I'll tell you when Jack's responded.
Now, Jack, I'm going to cut to it. Dead cut. I'm going to cut to your card, Jack. Dead cut.
Hang on a minute. So you're telling me that you're just going to cut directly to the card that Jack is thinking of?
Just once. I'm not going to shuffle them.
Okay.
I'm not going to do anything with them. I'm just going to cut the cards.
Well, I've got to tell you, he's already said no.
Don't test me, Jack.
You're an idiot. Okay, right, come on.
Ah. So, Jack,
Don't wait for a response on that.
for the first time, Jack, I've cut the cards. I've cut them.
You
I've
have.
cut the cards. Jack, so everybody knows, so you can't change your mind, put in chat what card you've just thought of.
He said if you do this, he's going to be impressed. So if this is it, I've got to be honest, Andy, I'll be impressed as well. We're either never going to sell this trick again, or you've just done an amazing trick. Oh, we're going to sell out.
Yeah. Come on, Jack. Cards are in my hand. I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving until you've said it.
We're going to be here for quite a while.
We're going to be here for quite a while. Jack's on the McDonald's internet.
Queen of Spades. You've cut to
Jack.
one card.
One card.
The Queen of Spades. Excellent. That's really good.
Jack, you tested me, Jack. You tested me.
We got there.
We got there in the end.
That's brilliant. We've just had Kenneth.
Yeah, somebody's just put in where is it available? Through our website. It's realworkers.co.uk. I think are we doing something on it as well?
Yeah, you can put your Real Workers discount into it. Jack.
Language, Jack.
Do we display that message?
Yeah, do it.
Burp. That is a good. It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, what is amazing about Wallet King? For me, like the nice thing is they can look at the card to begin. There are loads of choices of cards on the little casino membership card. They think of one, they lock it in the mind, and then you can give them that to hold on to. So later on, they can have a little look at the card and see that there were loads of other choices. So the little bit of fishing that is involved, we're being honest about it, there's a smidge of fishing, but there's not a lot. But when there is a little bit of fishing involved, you know, once you've done that initial little bit of dirty work, you're golden. You're left clean. Just to you know, yeah.
And I've done this so long now. I can pretty much about 90% of the time in real life. I mean, it's a little bit different over the internet, but in real life, I can guarantee 90% hit the card straight away. One of the techniques I teach is just to look, and you hold it hot. Just so this is center. You hold it off center. So what you follow their eye line. So if they're looking sort of here,
yeah.
If they're looking more central at you, then they're looking at these. And I teach all that on the explanations. And with that, you can narrow it down so much that if you know the color, you hit the card on the next one.
Yeah. Well, when you did it, if you remember Chris Ramsey, when he was passing and you performed it for him, he didn't have a clue at Blackpool.
Yeah.
No idea.
Mind you, he was he's been hounded, and I went, and he stopped, and I went, and he went, and
he shook his head.
And just walked on. Yeah.
Aye.
But
it stumped him. We know it stumped him. It's a great little trick.
It is. And like you said, there's loads of routines with it. And I know I mentioned it. I don't think. Are we doing a deal on it?
Yeah, it's on the website now. It's let me have a little look at that. Wallet King. I'm just loading it up now. We've got it on the website at the moment on a reduced price. So, well, it's loading at the moment, so I do apologise. That's why I'm looking a little bit weird at the moment. In fact, my internet's kind of gone so slow.
Well, that's it. Well, you're hosting all this. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll put it up at the end, won't we? We can put it up at the end. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Are you going to make me wear this fez all the way through?
Oh, hang on.
Oh, now Joel's out of sync. He's been practicing his Ventac for a few days. So, he's back. There we go.
Am I back on? Sorry about that. So, let's little question, people, before we bring our main guest on. Will you do us a big favour and hit share?
Yeah.
But don't hit share. If there's somebody next to you now called Share, don't hit her. Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stroke. You'll be fine. So, we've got a fabulous guest next. Now, he is going to teach you some bits as well. So if you've got a deck of cards, if you need to go and get it now. We'll time you.
I've got my cards here.
What card are you using?
Oh, these are really nice. These are some of the Phil Smith. He designed these for Peter Turner. Designed in the UK. These are the resurrected cards. Really, really nice.
Yeah. When did they die?
They're really nice. They're quite big cards. They've got a big. Yeah. They've got like a big feel to them, I guess. I don't know, but they're really nice. They're a nice card. Yeah. So people, get your cards. Our guest is Gareth says, "Why hit share?"
You'd be doing us a favour.
So yeah,
ball routine.
Yeah, so, these are really nice.
Go get your cards. Go get your cards.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, this guy really does some amazing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I met Daniel Chard last year when I was working in Bristol, and he was absolutely amazing. I told you he was kind of sat there at the table, just constantly playing with cards, and oh man, I would occasionally just look down at his hands to see what he's doing, and he'd just do some unbelievable stuff. I believe today he's got us some incredible deals lined up. So he's got some great little deals that I'm going to be taking advantage of without a doubt. And he's got us some brilliant tricks as well. He's got us a full trick that he's going to be teaching. He's going to show us some magic, and not only that, he's going to show us a sleight. He's shown you the sleight, and it fooled me. He fooled me with the sleight. And it got me, and I was only watching him performing it for you as you were chatting away, and it looked absolutely amazing. Yeah. So people, if you would hit the share button, we're going to bring our guest on and get ready to introduce you to our guest. Should we bring him on? Do you want to bring him on, Andy?
Roll.
Go on. You should say something. Go on. Let's take this seriously.
It's my pleasure to introduce one of the finest card men that I've seen in recent years. He wears a mean beanie. The fabulous Chard. How was that? Was that good?
That was great. Hi, Dan.
Oh shit!
We should all
You said about the fairs. I was just practicing stuff in the dark.
How are you?
That's what lockdown has reduced me to, practicing stuff in the dark. I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, doing pretty good, thanks. Not too bad at all. You're looking well.
Oh, bless you, sir. Flattery gets you everywhere. What's with the, why's the fairs come off?
Oh, sorry. It's surprisingly really warm.
I know. It's a fashion statement. That's good.
Now, I'm going to let you into a little secret because I'm only little. I've been sat on one of these. Right?
What are you sat on? Are you sat on the phone block?
What was that?
The yoga foam blocks.
That's really
so, and because I put the phone in, I'm now too tall.
You've descended.
Gee whiz, Andy. I didn't realise you were that short.
Neither did I.
I'm miles away.
So, how are you finding lockdown, Dan?
Really good. I mean, to be honest, mate, I've been working like 6 days a week, so I've not really had a lockdown.
Yeah.
And
you've got a new little job.
Yeah, delivering parcels. Nice and exciting. So yeah, basically, no, I've just been doing sort of all sorts, just bring some income in, as well as like online lectures, teaching. I had a handful of students at the start of lockdown, plus some like little projects and stuff. So yeah, just been really busy, man. I think I need a lockdown to get over this one. This has been been crazy.
So it's been a busy lockdown.
Yeah, for sure. Literally about 6 days a week, man. It's been intense.
Right. Yeah, good. That's kind of like been the complete opposite for me, really. I've just spent like the entire lockdown just going, I need something to do. So it's good that you say that again, Andy.
Just taking the mickey out of me, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. For 13 weeks solid. So if anybody has, and it's been quite easy to find the material to take the mick out of him as well for 13 weeks. I haven't struggled at all. It's been quite easy. If anybody has any questions for Dan, drop them in the comment section. That'll be brilliant.
Yeah,
and then we can pick them up. Yeah, yeah. So Dan, I've got a little question for you.
Sure.
Right. So you're known predominantly as a card magician, right?
Yes.
So what I'm interested to know is I find like when people first become interested in magic, card magic isn't really something that draws me. Like, I don't know. Were you young when you started to learn magic? Were you quite young?
Yeah, basically, like most kids, I had like magic sets from grandparents just because they run out of ideas eventually of what to buy you, right? So that just became, and then basically, found out it was really easy to fool my parents, and then I got bit by the bug from that. Well, it's weird. Originally, I wanted to get into kids magic.
Okay, right.
So I used to go to there's a pet shop in Hanham near me, and they had like all this pet food, and then it's random. They had like magic tricks and like various joke items over the other side, and I used to buy all the like color changing silks, all that sort of stuff, and then so I had all of these like stuff laid out, ready to do like a kid show, and then this a kid in a park said, "Oh, I know you do magic. Can you show me a trick?" I said, "Yeah, sure, fine." And showed him a trick, and then instantly they knew how it was done. So I hated the little kid from that point. And
what was the trick?
I can't remember. I think it was it might have been like a really bad French drop, or something like that, or some gimmicked apparatus, and he instantly spotted it, and I was just like, I hate kids. This is not for me. So then, the technical, which I'm very glad about, because I couldn't think of anything I'd be worse at, and it was then so I found technical card magic. So here we are.
Right. And what age was it when you first got into like pretty much predominantly card stuff? Yeah,
well, I guess it was it's kind of like Marlowe in some respect. Like he only did cards because it was so cheap to get. So for me, it was they were just always around the house or people's houses. It was just easy to get. And a family friend said everyone knows a card trick. So I took that literally, and I'd ask all of my teachers, all of my family friends. At the end of the lesson, I kind of like sheepishly walk up to them and be like, "Oh, this sounds really weird, but you know any card tricks?" And I'd get the puzzled expression. They'd be like, "What the hell are you on about?" And then you'd explain slightly. And I amassed a real sort of good knowledge from like all of like teachers, friends, family, and stuff like that. One of them taught me like the shifter. One of them taught me how to throw cards. It's just really weird stuff like mathematical principles. And they were just really good fun. And then bought some marked cards, and the rest is history, man. We became known as Magic Boy and stuff like that in school. And then the obsession just grew, just a crazy height, I guess.
Yeah, brilliant. You seem to have travelled around a lot with magic. You've travelled like all over the world. You've recently done a Penguin Live. Did you do that last year?
Yeah, I've been all over the world. I've been to Wales. I've been to Sweden. the summer of Bristol. It was Penguin. Yeah, Penguin was awesome, man. Definitely one of my favourite sort of magic memories. That was in I think it was last year. Obviously, but you film it prior to that. Seems like a whole different world, man, since we filmed that. I think it's been out a year. We filmed it 6 months prior to that, so that must have been 2018.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that was super fun, and that was the team at Penguin are great. It's not really much else to say. I mean, if you ever get the chance, do it.
We've got a quick question.
Sure.
This is from Gareth Whitty. He says, "Can you do sponge balls?"
It's funny you say that. Yeah, I do. I perform them quite a lot. So I use what's the routine? Like the 2 in the hand, 1 in the pocket. Type routine mixed with I used to do Jay Sankey's. Well, I generally attribute to him like the 10 count, where then they travel across, where you're like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, blah 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 blah. And then more recently in Bar Magic, the sponge phallic ding dong. That became
Andy's favourite as well.
A mainstay. It was I had it in my bag, and I thought I'd try it just as a joke, just to a bunch of lads that were proper like stag lads. And tried it, and yeah, they just went absolutely nuts. And I was like, there's something to this. I've shown them like all this like world class card, well, giving them the perception of world class card magic, and then they like a sponge cock in their hand and they just go wild. It was a weird lesson that day.
Yeah. We all.
One, I can't really tell you. Oh,
sorry, go on, Joel.
Shut up, Andy. I'm trying to talk.
Really?
One little routine. No, this is actually it's like a non-statement, really, but one that's well worth going on to YouTube and having a look at is Kent and Nepper's sponge ball routine.
Okay.
And Kent and Nepper's, if you know him, is known primarily for like mind reading and It's,
mental, right?
Yeah, mentalism. Yeah. Well, he's got an amazing sponge ball routine, so check that out. It's well worth. Everybody who's here, don't go now. Don't be going now, but later on, check out.
As well, there was another great sponge ball routine. One of the things I always hated was having the you do the climax of the routine, like the ball's just going everywhere. It was
yeah.
Calm that smile, Joe. I can see your immature little laugh. And it was, I think Gary Jones had the best finish to that. He basically gets some like a large Ziploc bag, get the spectators put their hands in and opened, and then the whole bag would just like explode full of red balls.
Oh,
so
right.
Great. It's one of those moments I never messed with, but yeah, sponge balls I've always had a love-hate relationship with. I always thought they were naff, and then a good friend Grant Maidman, he's like, "Oh, just try it, give them a go," and I did, and yeah, never looked back. I always carried them on me at gigs just because it was a great way to get rid of kids, because you just show them a quick sponge ball routine, they all vanish. Oh, my props have gone. Now you're gonna have to vanish, or whatever, and then yeah.
So you used it as a tool to get rid of kids.
Yeah,
brilliant.
And it was
Why haven't I thought of that? But there you go. There's a top tip from Daniel Chard. Show them a sponge ball trick at the beginning to get rid of them.
Yeah, there we go.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea, especially if you're wanting to wander around, show people card stuff, and primarily interact with adults. And yeah. I mean, it's a good idea. I've never really thought of that. Like, show the kids a quick trick and get rid of them.
For me, it was always it's great for like international. I don't know how we got on the subject. And it's great for like international students and stuff like that, because it requires so little explanations. Jump from your hand to theirs. In regards to kids, it was a great trick for them. It was equally good for like corporate tables. If you had if you wanted to do a watch still, like David Blaine did on one of his specials, it's great motivation for that. But equally, it was just a fun one to get people, all the byplay, all the inherent kind of innuendo, like a drunk corporate party, and there's a lot of things going for it. I don't know where they're going to place, in the world now. I think COVID might have eliminated sponge balls, which is probably a blessing in disguise.
Maybe.
COVID.
Right.
Is
COVID balls.
We have got a question, Daniel.
Yes.
Question for Daniel. How do you set your routines when doing walk around magic? That's from Sean.
Sean McNulty. Nutty. So how do I set my routines? I'm a creature of habit. I use the same. So I've got the bank of endless bank of card stuff I can throw in at any time if the situation right. But to be honest, because I'm fairly low key in terms of props, it's mainly a couple of coins, a nest of wallets, a wallet, deck of cards, and a Sharpie, and that's pretty much me done. So it's or maybe a chop cup. I might have like a load in one pocket and just carry the cup around. But as far as setting the routines, I always have the same opener, same closer in the middle. I might mess around dependent on the environment. It very often depends. So if I've got table space, I'll throw in stuff that's more akin to that environment. But equally, if someone mentions something that triggers an idea of a trick I know that I don't usually do but makes sense, like trying to think about who's the German card magician. Name's just gone.
It's okay.
It's the guy that really skinny dude.
he did what?
He did finger flicker. Pitt Hartland. So
Pitt Hartland.
Yeah. So he's got an essay in one of his books that talks about inducing challenges. So the idea of if you produce a ham sandwich from thin air, that's quite a fairly impressive trick. Whereas if someone says, "Can you produce a ham sandwich?" this will make sense, I promise. Because they've induced that challenge into reality, and when you then fulfill that, it becomes a lot more impressive than if you just did it randomly. So it's the same kind of thing with situations like that. Most of the requests you get are, they're fairly similar in some respects, right? So if you can you make a card go behind a window? No, but then you shoehorn some narrative to make it fit, like card and envelope,
something like that.
or card under glass. But you shoehorn any loose logic just to get that. But then
that's when they say, yeah, but it wasn't behind the window, was it?
well, you didn't pay for this, right? So. But yeah, no, I follow the same routine most of the time, but it depends in a walk around setting, because obviously if you're paid by someone you have to deliver behind the magic bar, it's a lot different. You've got more room to play. But yeah, situation dependent.
Yeah. What are your favorite types of jobs, of gigs? What do you prefer? Like if you had like the ultimate thing that you enjoy performing in, and if let's say for example, you had one more gig that you could do, what environment would it be in?
Sure. So I think for me, the best one would be like a small kind of parlor version of like Ricky Jay's 52 Assistants. So that kind of large table, a group of spectators, I think, say between like 10 to 12, where you get that real intimate setting, and it's more story driven as opposed to, you've got like an hour. So I guess it's more kind of like a close up Fringe show in some respects.
Yeah.
Like a boardroom style almost.
Yeah, exactly that. So you can go into all the elegant stuff. You've got an environment which they come to, so you don't have to kind of haul props around and stuff. So that gives you more flexibility in approach. But it would be a close up setting like that, or the one I'd like to do aside from that, like a massive crowd of I don't know, a couple of hundred people, just laugh. So,
what you mean, like in a theatre, or where you've got a captive audience, or?
No, I don't know. I guess it would be more on like a stage, I don't know, a couple of hundred people. Theatre would be nice. Or like there's a theatre in Bristol called the Redgrave, which is like, they've got some great seating. It's like tiered, etc. So yeah. So all anything, man, I enjoy magic wherever, whether it's one person or 500, it's all great.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's great. We've got a little question.
Far away.
This is a technical question from Mitchell Ward, and he's asking, what pass do you perform the most?
The one that they don't look at. No, because for me, it's I used to obsess over questions like that. Do you know what I mean? So where you'd work this is the worst sort of angle to perform a pass at, but like where you would obsessed with making it invisible, but then someone said like, no pass is invisible irrespective of how well you do it technically, because you still see, like, even though you see some magicians do it beautifully well, you don't see the transition of the packets, but you still see something in their hand movements that illustrates something that's happened, right? So and then I can't remember who it was. I met an older magician. They said like, oh, just do it when they're not looking, and that's like quite early on, and that really stuck. And then it was, I can't remember who it was. I heard a story of I think Justin High might have told me of something like Vernon was doing a cards to pocket or something. Then he did like an ordinary shift behind someone's back, like as he was kind of getting them to move over. He'd do like a pass one-handed, and then bring the cards back around. But it looks like he's done nothing. So the lesson that it taught me was using passes that fit your environment in terms of so if I'm in a restaurant, I'll do a pass as I'm walking around someone. Or very often just cutting the pack in a way that gets you back to this sort of position. So we've not actually done anything, but it looks like their card goes back in because of the time lapse between when they put it back.
Yeah.
But in terms of a specific pass, probably stuff like the either the dribble pass or like the Tommy Tucker pass, the one where you basically show the card in the center. So it could be somewhere in the middle. It doesn't look like anything's happened, but you've controlled the card to the top.
That looked amazing.
There was one other. I think it's I've seen Gary Jones show this and Eric Jones during a lecture, but the idea was the one that you could burn. I don't know who to credit for this, but essentially you take the 7 in the pack. You'd say you could place your card there, could place your card there. We'll leave it in the middle, and then you push the card in. and then you've got the card on the top. So those are it's probably the two that I use because just there's no you know, nothing you can really see, and it's completely illogical.
Yeah,
so they fit the bill really well.
That looks great. Yeah. Oh, thanks.
You know, any questions, man? Keep them coming in. It keeps the.
So you would say basically people who wanting to add a pass. I mean, I've been performing Magic for like full time for not far off 20 years, and I never perform a pass, and I've never really held much to a pass within the set. So would you say just your ultimate advice then is just find the pass that works for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be, you know, just because a sleight works doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the best for you in that sense. I think every, you know, sleights they've got different advantages depending on the situation you're in. For example, like if you're on stage and you see someone doing a pass, you know, the motion's quite open, it's quite obvious. Whereas, but even when you examine the motion in that situation, that there's variations you can do on stage which you couldn't do up close. For example, like if you turn to the side and do like a dribble pass, you've got more cover there than if you did like classic pass. And it's finding stuff that fits your gestures. I mean, I dribble the pack a lot to get cards selected, mainly out of necessity for like corporate tables. So I'm getting you know, cards remembered like this. So it makes sense that my moves fit how I handle stuff. So there's uniformity and like, you know, there's a line that goes through my movements. So when I do a sleight or a normal move, there's no real there's a congruence between all of it. And but in terms of the sleights, just to keep on question, I think it's it's just finding ones that work. But it's questioning like is the sleight the best move for that situation when you could do I don't know, where, you know, a double into the pack fairly might be the best solution. Or don't get too hung out because they're, you know, I'm a move monkey. I love collecting moves, learning all variations, but equally there's usually one or two tools that are the best for the job. And don't be afraid of learning or simplifying or using a gaff. You know what I mean? It's whatever gets the job done in the most deceptive way possible, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's probably skirting around the question, but
no, that's great. No, I think ultimately you're right. Like if the pass doesn't feel like it's right for you, find something else. Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily that good a move because you think about it, usually you're shifting 51 cards, just control one. Right? Where like a side is more advantageous. I think the best analogy I heard for a pass was it's like it's using a nuclear bomb to kill a fly. Do you know what I mean? You're using such a broad, like, such a big technique for such a small action when people aren't looking anyway. It's like,
really good analogy that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Good. So, are you okay for another question?
Yeah, of course, mate. Far away.
Here we go. This is Gareth Whitty's asking this. He's asking, do you carry a card mat when you're performing?
No, not really. Well, it depends. I think the only exception I have to that rule, I'll usually carry one in my car just in case the sort of opportunity presents itself. Like if you know, there's usually a couple of interested parties at the end of a gig that, you know, really taken to what you do and they want to see something a little bit more special. I'll just you know, take them to one side and show them some kind of more special stuff that way. At the Magic Bar, I carry one just because it fits the environment I'm in, because we're a resident magician there, so it kind of makes sense. But no, in terms of like corporate events or weddings, you know, it just looks weird if you're carrying a mouse mat essentially to and it's just an extra thing to carry, and I can't be asked. You know, I just want something fits in my pockets. You know, at worst carry a small bag. But I admire the guys that carry all the gimmicks. You know, like stuff like Kieran and stuff, Raw as Ice, and I couldn't be asked. That's too much crap.
A lot of stuff to carry around, isn't it?
It is,
yeah.
We do have on the moves. We do have David Hand has asked a question as well. Do you have a favorite force?
Yes, the one that Yoda and Luke Skywalker use is probably the best, I think. No, in terms of I think there are a couple of really deceptive ones. I think the dribble force is probably one of the best, and not done in the traditional way that you see magicians do it, like, you know, like serial killer eye contact, and they're like, right, say stop, and then you show the card or whatever. Just the dribble force with turning your head, just like, oh, say stop, wherever they say stop, you show them what the card is. I think it's the most fair looking. For most environments, a classic force you can't really beat. I think the best work I've seen on that's probably Danny G. Ortiz. That's got so many great forces that make the classic force nearly 100%, and it's much more of an attitude move. And I think that applies in a broader concept to pretty much all of the moves anyway. I think if you do the Hindu force correctly, that can be one of the most deceptive. Rather than getting to the point where you drop cards, where you go through and you just show the card immediately. That having that having the subtlety where you show the cards each time as they're different, which doesn't make any sense if you think about it logically. Then when you get to the point where you show the card, having a little time delay and then going into the move is more effective. But I think you can't really beat a classic pass or like an under the spread cull force.
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of the best.
Yeah, excellent.
I think it sort of goes back to the original, what you said for the pass, really, that having a couple in the bank, just in case, if you do the classic force and you miss, then sometimes the cull underneath will help you out. And
well, that's it. I mean, it's a distinction I've never really understood. Like when people, when people give the label of like move monkey, not just necessarily to myself because I don't really care for that sort of thing, but in general, when they say like move monkeys or professionals, I think it's a stupid distinction because the moves you use are the tools for your performance. So I think it's important to have as many under your belt, especially now social media has exposure, or people can watch your video several times, and if you're always using the same method, as soon as they find out what that method is and the mechanics behind it, you've got nowhere else to go. So if your repertoire uses all forces, you're screwed. So it's important to have, as many deceptive handlings as you can for a certain move. I think that's the thing I'd advise. But I mean, you'd only use 2 or 3 generally anyway, but making it as bulletproof as you can.
Excellent. Yeah, great advice.
You sounded nice.
But keep cracking on, man. This is it's good fun.
Yeah, that is great. Do you want to show us a trick?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll show you one from my first DVD. This is just a bit of nostalgia, so if I do cry, I apologize. So, so the idea of this one is so in every deck you get 4. Usually get like extra cards. These could be jokers, etc. This tally-ho deck came with 4 extra. You don't usually see 4 jokers in the deck, right? But to remedy this, something you do usually find if we snap, we get in this case 1, 2, 3, and 4 aces. Yay! So we'll try something with those. So we'll show you these one at a time. So we have the diamonds and spades, we have the hearts, and we have the clubs. The aces are going to go. I'll place those just on the box. Yep. So they go here, and get you to say stop on a card anytime you wish. Thank you very much. And then write this one. So in this case, it'll be here. And I'll bury that in the center of the deck. Now, the aim of this is they say things are always in the last place that you look. So obviously, whilst you've been staring at the cards, where's the one place you've looked away from?
All the aces.
Yes, there we go. Now, the thing is, obviously, I put those outside as well, but if we snap, you'll notice one has actually jumped between the cards. And what was yours?
The 2 of clubs.
The 2 of clubs, so between them should be 1 card. It should be the 2 of clubs. Yay! The inevitable find a card and you find it. So we'll try that again. So what happens, we'll lose the card roughly in the middle this time. So the card's in the middle, aces on top. If you watch the aces like this and we tap, you can see the cards completely vanish from here. And in the middle, they trap 1 card. Lo and behold, it should be your 2. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm a magician. I find cards, right? It's what I do. It's literally my life's purpose, which is kind of sad in some respects. But if you watch the 2 this time, I'm going to make it completely gone. I know, I can see by the facial expression, my friend, it doesn't look like you believe me, but if we actually look between them, it looks like the card has completely vanished, leaving one inescapable conclusion. Is this man wearing any underwear? Probably not. However, I carry a spare in my back pocket. It's always important. 1 card, yours, the 2 of... 2
clubs.
Should be the 4 and 4 aces. So that's a trick Kickback Bonanza, and that is on my Penguin lecture, shameless plug, and also my first DVD, Chard, which I think might be sold out. Not necessarily due to demand, probably just because it's very, very old.
It's not a shameful plug. That was amazing. That is so good.
That is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stuff that I always loved, that kind of multiple kicker magic. You know, from watching guys from learning from like Derek Dingle's book. But the main people that got me onto that was watching guys like Gary Jones. Because I always knew that even when he was doing a normal trick that you've seen like a million times, there'd always be an extra kicker, or as soon the backs would change color, they'd all go blank. Or so I think meeting him from such a young age, not in a dodgy way, but like that had a very big sort of impact on. There's no story I'm going to sell to the BBC or anything like that, but it's just something that always stuck with me. I just love that. Because I think if you've only got like 5 minutes with the spectators, you should hit them sort of as hard as you can. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like get in there, Rocky style, kick their ass, leave them mentally just fried, and then
do you open up with a routine with as many hits as that?
Yeah,
brilliant.
I think it's because you play it, the tempo on the camera is going to be different from live, right? There's going to be banter between. And I think that's a misconception a lot of people make as well. Like they immediately open with a trick. I mean, I've opened, I've had tables where I spoke for like 15 minutes. I've not even, did anything. And it's got to the point that, what do you actually do? You know what I mean? This second that length of time, they're like, I'm enjoying this conversation, but like, who are you? What do you do? And I'm like, oh yeah, shit, sorry. And they go into,
No, I didn't mean that as a negative in any way. I mean, like, it just when I say you're hitting with that much magic, I mean, it's a good thing, because that is just full of punch after punch after punch, and then at the end,
it's certainly in in places like restaurants and stuff like that, because you don't know how long you've got with them, or same at a wedding, there could be an announcement, there could be, so my job is to just get in there and hit them as hard as I can, as quickly as I can. So at least if I don't get any more time with them, they've seen enough to make it justifiable. And I think they can, people can tell the difference between an expert and not a novice, but like the difference between someone that's really kind of paid their dues and compared to someone that just gigs because it's good money. But yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know what the point was of that. Yeah,
brilliant.
No,
So who?
Really, really good. I mean, even when you said you approach a table and you can talk for 10, 15 minutes, and then they start asking you, well, are you going to show us something? You're building that anticipation all the time. You're almost like, I need to see whether you actually deserve seeing this sort of thing.
They're like, oh, shit. And I think that's that comes with time. It's that's not every time. Usually it's about between 30 seconds to 3 minutes. You're talking beforehand of because I've never been a huge fan of. I mean, it depends on the environment. Like, you couldn't go to a corporate table, and talk to everyone for 10 minutes because the environment's not conducive to that. But when you can, I think it's because you find out so much, right? If you find out what someone's job is, that could be a business opportunity. They could know a friend. We're all connected in some way. So it could be business opportunities you're missing. They could know someone They could, you could learn stuff about magic that they've seen.
Cool. So, what's your favorite book, Dan?
My favorite book, The Karma Sutra. It taught me so much. It was one of those amazing reads. Put me in an awkward position.
Can you do the fact on page 74 of the Karma Sutra?
Yes, although my I pulled my hamstring last week doing that. It was really bad. No, favorite book in terms of magic, or
in terms of magic, yeah.
I've got a few. I think, and that's not a dodge, but I think a couple of my favorites. I like the volume 1 of the Ascanio books. I think it's the Structural Conception of Magic, volume 1. So the Magic of Ascanio, volume 1, the Structural Conception of Magic. So basically, it's his like philosophical treatise on. It's all theory, but it's the but when you read it, like, the main bits for me were the kind of interviews between Ascanio and Juan Tamaris. You can just tell the level of like passion, the love for the art, just the depth of thinking was such a kind of eye opener from the usual, surface level trivial thinking that a lot of magicians apply to magic. And it was it was the first kind of insight where people were, thinking about stuff in such depth. And it talks about everything from misdirection, psychology of palming, naturalness, handling doubles, but all in a theoretical concept. But he was the first in my knowledge to take stuff like time misdirection, give it like an analytical framework, make it a process you can follow. But yeah, great book on theory, man. And obviously, if you look at the Spanish school, it's had such an influence, and that I've yet to find many bad Spanish students. You know what I mean? They're all such a high level, and I think it's his kind of contributions that make it. So other than that, two other books that spring to mind. 52 Memories by Jack Parker is a great book. Mainly because I think it's, if sadly he passed away, but if he was still alive, I think he would probably be the next kind of Brother John Hammond, because all of his magic was economical and designed. It's one of the tricks are all, really original looking, different in plot, but not just that, they're equally as fun to perform as they are deceptive to watch, if that makes sense. So there's milking kind of to its nth degree. And then the other one, which I got quite early in, was By Forces Unseen by Ernest Eric, however you want to say it. But yeah, it's probably one of the most technical books on card stuff, which is what really appealed to me. It was all of the effects in there are really original. There's nothing really in the literature like them, and they're all comprised of original, quite difficult sleights. And they're not only fun to practice, but they're a great exercise. And one of the opening passages, he was the first kind of author that I read that was kind of an unapologetic move monkey. He was just a passionate hobbyist. He had no intention of performing, and he said he could get lost for hours just messing around with different ace productions or going down the rabbit hole of moves, etc. And I've just noticed King Joe, you pompous.
What's that?
I just noticed King Joe.
Is that all you've noticed?
Yeah, so I think I know. I'm so sorry. On your brick wall, is there a cigar that's about to?
There's a wrecking ball on the other side.
Miley Cyrus.
I've noticed, Andy, when you've come on, you've spoke your name wrong.
I know. Well, it's. Listen, I can spell it however I like.
And he stole the red tie. So. But yeah,
We've got another little question. This is coming from Gareth, and he's saying, "Do you have a favourite packet tricks?
Sure.
Do you have any favourite packet tricks?"
Yes. So I've got one that I could never show on any form of live camera because it's probably too offensive and too sweary. So the one I use all the time, if you find me at Blackpool, I'll probably have it on me. So it's the world's most offensive card trick by Sadowitz, which is an absolute brilliant piece of card magic. It's extremely rude, extremely fun. I think it's a proper like bar trick. You know what I mean? It's like 12 at night. They're up for a good laugh. You don't much of any magic, and it's just basically producing swear words, and they get gradually more offensive. And then Paul Gordon's got a variation of that called the Dog's Bollocks, which is a funny version as well. But in terms of actual normal packet tricks that you could probably, although I don't think it's probably classed as a packet trick, it's John Bannon's Stranger's Gallery, his card changing deck. So there's a component of that which is extremely strong. Or the other one I like was the eye test. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. I remember. There's loads of and obviously Wallet King available at your. Oh, you!
No. Stop.
In terms of why, I like packet tricks because there's so much magic with so few cards. I think the another great one as well. If you haven't seen it, is Grant Maidment's Here's My Card.
Right. Okay.
No, I haven't seen it.
Your sign card. It's it basically brings out 4 jokers. They do all these sort of like an inversion routine, twisting the Joker sort of thing, and then at the end, all the backs change color and it says your assigned card, and then it's pointing to the one card that's not turned over and it's theirs.
Okay.
Yeah, so much magic. It's heavily inspired by the work of Gary Jones, but it looks great on like promotional shots. Do you know what I mean? Because he's got the cards that say like your assigned card here, and then the selection, and then the crazy face, and then yeah.
Brilliant.
It's
Really
just
wonderful. I'm just going through. I worked in a magic shop for about 18 months, and the
Nice.
ones that came through were just unbelievable. I used to dem items to death. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Really
I think it's and usually because they're so different. I think sorry, I don't know why I didn't think of this, but the best packet tricks I've ever seen live, I think, are the work of Peter Pelican from Holland. Have you ever seen his
Right.
stuff?
I don't think so. No.
So he's, I would say he's not underground by any means. He was at one point, but basically he on like Instagram and stuff like that, he would put all of these videos of these packet tricks, which just looked like they look like trick photography. Because he would show like 4 cards, and then holes would appear in them. They would then go blank. They would then turn into like money. Do you know what I mean? Just all these crazy variations. And I think he was at Blackpool on the stand next to yours.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look out for him next time. He's got probably the best work on packet tricks.
Sorry, I had to dash. I feel a bit rude, but I had to move it away for a moment. Are we on about Peter Pelican?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Some of his tricks were absolutely killer, but they go in like unusual directions as well.
Yeah. Like he'll show you what looks like a normal twist in the ace, and then he produces like money, and then they all go blank, and then they turn like into like silhouettes. It's just crazy shit, man.
Yeah,
real stuff.
I remember he did a routine, and it was a follow like chase the ace type routine.
Yeah.
And then he said at the end, "How could you not keep your eye on it?" And he turned it over, and it had a massive hole in the back.
Yeah.
Wow.
He did he showed me a similar thing, but at the end of it, he's like, "Oh, do you know how they work?" And he's like, "Oh, all the cards are stuck together," and then basically like opens the packet of 5 cards, and they're like an accordion, like stuck together. And you're like, how the hell does that even work?
I love the idea. It's got some brilliant.
But the stuff behind it, like what he's done is he's taken it to a whole new level, because he's invented like new counts that hide a lot more, so it means you can get a lot more magic out of a lot fewer cards, because you're only obviously without sort of exposing his method, so they allow you to hide more and show more.
Yeah. So he's used the innovation of his own ideas to give more as an effect. Give him a little bit of reason. Yeah. Have you picked any of his stuff up?
I haven't. No, they're it's one of I should. I've given all this. It's one of those things I should pick up. It's such a incredible.
Absolutely.
Now I've got free time. It's
Yeah.
Well,
Great.
Following on from that, we've had another question, Daniel, from Gareth Whitby. Do you use any gaff decks?
Yeah, love them. I think gaffs. I think people have always seen me as like a purist, or but no, I use any. I don't mind using all gaffs if it produces the strongest effect. For me, that's the main thing. I couldn't give a shit whether it uses a gaff, all sleight of hand. If it's the hardest sleight in the world, as long as the effect's worth it, then by all means, I'm happy to. A couple of ones I use all the time. Obviously, invisible deck, standard, great. So many good applications for that. Tossed out deck. In terms of close up, there's a couple of gems like white. Have you ever heard of the effect white bikes?
Oh yeah, very
great,
nice.
Really old. So the basic concept: you have like a blue card in the deck. You go through this counting procedure. They match. The back color of one changes to match the prediction, and then the whole pack goes blank. Which is crazy because it looks like completely impossible in that respect, right? I'm trying to think of other gaff decks. In the right circumstances, marked decks are absolutely killer. More often than not, just to full magicians, I'll mess around with like a one-way deck, just because it's stuff they don't expect you to use, right? And it's whatever the best tool for the job. Yeah. So, but I love gaff cards.
Yeah,
That's it.
brilliant.
And like
Yeah.
you said, if people think you're a purist, if you're using a marked deck or something like that, it's just going to blow their mind because
Yeah,
they've
yeah,
already
yeah,
made a preconceived idea that you wouldn't
yeah.
even dare use a marked deck or
Well,
a
no,
guide
that's
deck
it.
at
And I
all.
think just to kind of illustrate the point, I was messing around with. I mean, the idea is not original to me by any stretch, but essentially on a deck like this, you would write the you'd have the cards in like a sort of cyclical stack essentially, and then but on the back of each card you would have written here what the name of the card in front was, so you could so you would just write on the back in the low corner like here whatever the card is. So whenever you go through the pack like this, the spread hides them. But essentially
Yeah.
what you do is as you spin the card around like this and get them to memorize it, the like the markings written down just in Sharpie, do you know what I mean, staring back at you.
Yeah.
And then when you spin it back around and push it in, everything looks but you know what the card is. But all you've done is just write on the back in Sharpie.
Yeah.
I love like bold stuff like that just because it's stupid in some respects, right?
Just the way you stand that looked good.
Oh, thank you. It's just the idea of like as soon as you spin it, you've got the marking staring back at you.
Yeah.
Just because obviously you've just rotated the card in that respect, and it's just but it fits the
Yeah,
style. You know, it's just a non-moment. You're like, oh, I'll memorize your card. You know, great, and then you can just load it back in or whatever, and you're away. But yeah, any questions about anything, shoot away, and we'll.
yeah.
No, I totally get you. I mean, from working in restaurants, I had a guy that used to come in, and every time I saw him, find the aces. Just find the aces. So I got to the point where every time I'd open a deck of cards, I'd mark all the aces. So I could just go through and just call them, and then just find them. And every time I saw him, just find them. So
yeah, I mean, it's it's the same with like people. Because I think though that brings up an interesting topic, like challenges. Like they can be some of the most impressive tricks for those particular people. They could be crap in terms of like what commercial magic is, but as soon as you win someone over with like a challenge effect like that, they instantly become more your biggest fan, right? So as soon as one we get a lot in the magic bars, it's like someone says, right, I want to take the cards, I want to shuffle it, I want to lose it back in the back, and then you find it. So all you're doing is just essentially what would be like a magician faller card effect, right? So in that respect, you know, I'd either switch it for like a one-way deck, or you know, call red and black, you know, just a real simple method, right? Or one of the ones that I mess with quite a lot is just for any lay people, if you get like a real ass of a spectator, is give them the card, and you just put in a breather crimp as you show the card around. Have you seen? Have you seen? I can't remember. Yeah, Bob. So the idea of this was I think it's a John Armstrong thing, but you would essentially go through the pack, and then as you show, like, so as the spectators remembering the card like that, you've put a breather crimp in it. So whenever you know, they can shuffle it to their heart's content, and then at any point you can just cut straight to it. Do you know what I mean? So it's such a fun way. But you just do that with their selection, long enough for them to be like, I want to shuffle the cards. And you're like, yeah, fine. You know, at that point it's so far gone it doesn't really matter.
Brilliant.
I think with the challenge thing, because their preconceived idea of what it would be is what you're doing. So it's that works wonders.
Thank you. I think it's great to see Sandy doing well. Cheers, Mark. That is Mark Bennett of Smoke and Mirrors, everyone. You lovely, lovely man.
we've met him on the show.
Have you? Is he come on? Yeah. You should get him on to a segment at some point. That'd be quite fun. You might have to censor the audience, but it'll be. But to answer your question, Mark, yes, I have loads of new age tricks, and what's going to make you real happy is that Steve Forty in his book has a chapter on about 50 new ones that are all new methods involving riffle, shuffle staff, complicated gambling work. So, Mark, as soon as Smoke and Mirrors is open, my friend, I will show you those in their entirety. Yes. Obviously, once I cleaned my hands.
So you've got some deals together for us, which are really, really generous. I think we should have a little chat about these.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Then I can teach you a trick and a move. But yeah, so the deals I've got the basic package, which Joe has lovingly put up now. So you get my Penguin Live Act, which is essentially a 4.5 hour download. So it's an absolute beast.
I've seen it and it's amazing. I absolutely love it.
It's an afternoon.
Oh, it's massive. It's massive.
Yeah, but the best bit about it is you get like a 6 to 7 trick 45-minute stand-up show. With a mix of stuff, cards, mentalism, comedy magic, and then at the end I teach you my bar, essentially like a version of my bar set, which is the sandwich trick you saw at the start, and goes through a really in-depth explanation of all of the moves, and one of my favorite tricks using a DVD, which is really good fun. And then the expert at the chart table notes, which covers most of the explanations of the stuff in there. There's also some new effects which aren't published anywhere else. So there's usually available lectures, etc. So that's. Do you want to
show us a trick from out of it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So the one I showed you at the start was from the Penguin Live Act. I'll share with you my Biddle variation of the Biddle trick after this next package, and I'll teach that as well. So that'll give you an idea of the type of magic that I cover and use. So the epic package, the bundle is £30. That's just the Penguin Live Act and the notes. And then this is the epic package, never to be repeated again. So we have the Penguin Live, just reading off the screen. Nice one there.
We know
Thank you. It's just my eyes. They're really bad.
Do you want me to do it for you? Should I do it? Yeah. Okay. All right, so we've got the Real Workers Epic Package. That includes your Penguin Live, and I've genuinely seen it, and it is absolutely brilliant. Like you said, you've got your stage in there, you've got your close-up set in there as well, which is amazing. It's clearly come from, I would say, honestly, like a polished bar-style setting.
Next to Mark.
Yeah, the material is, honestly, I'm not saying it, it's so strong. Everything in there is amazing. You've got your expert at the Chard table. Is it in an illusion?
Yeah, so basically so you've got the Penguin Live, which is 4.5 hours. Expert at the Chard table notes. Life is an Illusion was essentially like a not self-help, but like a more of a book on sort of motivation, etc., which I read during my time as a motivational speaker, which was really good fun. It's more about the stuff you sort of think about when you're, as a performer, issues with confidence or mindset, various strategies around that, and some public speaking, which really helped me. So that was that. Gone is one I've not published officially yet, which is a hands-off card box. So basically the spectator lifts up, looks at a card, and they do all the work, and the card vanishes, and then it's in the box, which has been on the table the entire time. Banter is a comedy do as I do effect, which is published on the Penguin lecture as well, but this is a separate booklet that goes over some additional handlings. Violin is basically, this came out in 2012. That's 4 slides, which are really, really good fun for the Move Monkeys. And then Violin 2.0. Sorry, Karen.
No, sorry. I was going to say, I can remember when Violin came out. It was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. Basically, that's 4 of my favorite slides. We filmed that in Paris, and it's covers some really deceptive 4-for-4 switches, some really visual stuff to practice. And then Violin 2.0 is probably my one of my favorite things that I've put out recently. It's basically double the length of Violin with some different moves. We've got an action palm, the 2 switches in there again. One of them is a 4-for-4 switch that happens in midair. And probably I teach one of the most crazy cards across this in there as well, because the add-on happens in midair essentially, which is crazy. And then Contact Chard is my version of Aldo Colombini's Contact the Colors with a full deck kicker finish. They're all in order, and it's one of those tricks I carry like a spare deck, just a gig in my pocket, just like you said earlier, those moments where get the interested party in there, and you just want to really, really blow them away. So the original package for the bundle of those 2 items is £30, and then this one, as you can see, is 40, and you get like 8 items worth about £115 generally, but you're getting those at less than half price for £40.
That's brilliant.
That really, thank you. Yeah.
And you've got the links, etc., to share out after, I think.
Yeah, well, we've got them here, just so people can see.
Yeah.
If you have a little look, you go to tinyurl.com/RW Epic Bundle, and that's going to get you the big bundle, which is basically a measly £40 for a hell of a lot of material.
Yeah.
And if you want to get the bundle, you get the Penguin Live Act, the Close-Up Act, and Expert at the Chard table for £30, which is usually £45. So for that extra £10, you're getting a whole load of extra magic. Is that
so far?
Yeah, is that your entire work so far?
It's a huge chunk of it. Yeah, still got some stuff I haven't published, but that's a large part of it. And yeah, one of the items on Violin 2.0 is an action poem, which I'll cover now.
Oh, okay. You want to do it now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So but yeah, the bundles you can purchase after, or no, whatever you want, whichever makes you happy.
Yeah. Cool.
The,
we'll be buying it, so don't worry.
well, at least 2 people then, right?
We only set this show up for ourselves, basically. Nobody's watching it. It's just you, me, and Andy.
Literally no one here.
Yeah. The only reason why we're doing this is to try and get discounts on people's magic tricks.
It's working. So I'll show you the idea to start with. So
okay. I'm going to get rid of this little ticker on the bottom. There we go. Right. I'm also trying to figure out how to get rid of our names, but I can't figure it out.
No idea.
You're the king, Joel. You should be able to sort it out.
Yeah.
So the idea is an action palm in this case. The jack's on top. In the action of cutting the pack, you have the card in a palm. So that's the move.
Hang on. Do that again.
So the idea is that you so say with a jack on top, as you cut the pack, the card is in a bottom palm. So the idea of that is inspired by Miss Marlowe's action palm concept. So basically mimicking the Frank Thompson false cut, which is briefly your index finger lifts up the top portion. This packet gets lifted underneath, and then your ring finger of your right hand grips this pack as your right hand opens up this packet, and you grip that with your ring finger. You take the middle pack in the crotch of your thumb like this, the top pack, and then the other pack on top like that. So I'll run you through that again. So with the card face up, you cut this packet to the bottom, gripped by your ring finger. Your crotch of your thumb takes the middle packet. You then take the top packet, and this last packet goes on top, and that's a fully false cut. So the reason I teach you that is so you understand the movements and mechanics of what the other move should look like. So the idea in this case is you're going to do the grip for this palm is extremely important. So I'll teach you the single card version. There's a multiple card version that's a bit harder. So you hold the deck in you notice my thumb. The deck is nearly in my crotch of my thumb like this, going right across the side of the pack. Yeah. So the pack is in the crotch of the thumb here. So it's kind of similar to how you might grip the deck for like a Lowy palm, in that sort of manner. However, it's your thumb is right across the front of the pack here, almost at a sort of perpendicular line, right? So the first action you're going to mimic is like a swing cut, but what you do is you hold the deck with your middle finger and thumb, and you slide the top card off to the left like this, and it's clipped by the crotch of the thumb, like this. Okay. What happens is you notice where your index finger is. This happens automatically. As you take the card away, your index finger of your left hand is in this position on the corner. Yeah.
Yep.
By curling that in slightly, you're in this grip.
Okay.
Yeah, which is basically a palm grip. So to get that card into palm, all you do is bring those fingers in.
Yeah.
Oh,
so from the top again, your thumb is on horizontal line like this. You move the top card to the left. So this is the first part of the action. Is clipped in the crotch of the thumb. The index is at the top left corner, or obviously the top right if you're left-handed, and it's basically in a palm position here. So all you do to get that into palm is just bring your fingers in. So that's the first position. Piece of cake. That's the easiest bit, essentially, right? So what happens is you any continuing action. So that's the first bit you want to master. It's just getting the card into palm. You'd never do this just on its own because it's not deceptive. If you just want to, you can go through the pack, do this for a couple of hours if you're that sad. So you just go through, get that into palm, bring it to the bottom, and bring it to the bottom. Just get used to doing that. And then when you're comfortable with those mechanics, what happens is you do the same thing again. So you bring the thumb over in this position, bringing the card down. And then in a continuing action, without hesitation, you then swing cut half the deck into the crotch of your thumb at this point. Yep. And this gets taken here. And then this last packet gets placed on top, and you have the card in a bottom palm.
Okay.
So it's quite a you know, to get used. I think the hardest part with the move is not necessarily the palm itself, is holding the pack in a position whilst your card is in palm.
So you've got it in. You managed to get it in like a really kind of smooth palm. Could you just do it naturally as you do, but stop just after the moment you palmed it?
Sure. So from there,
right. That's brilliant.
So I'll do. So I'll show you again. So what happens is, as you bring the card over, the extreme corners in the crotch of the thumb here, and your index finger is on that position, and all you do is bring these. You squeeze the index in, which kind of bows that corner, and these fingers just come up, and you're in a palm position with the thumbs on one corner holding it in position, and then obviously. So basically, this, you know, whenever you're palming cards as well, you're in this position. Those are the only real fingers that come in contact with the card. A lot of the time you see people in this kind of position, which is wrong, because the only points that you want to be in contact with essentially is between the lower point of the pinky here and then the crotch of the thumb here. So it's only those 2 points of contact, because it gives your hands a more natural appearance essentially. So once you've done the first bit and you bring the card into palm, you then swing cut the pack, take that out of the crotch of the thumb. You want to keep these fingers together as much as you can, just using the thumb. That's the bit that'll be the hardest to get used to. And then you take this pack, obviously keeping the card in palm here. One of the tips I can give is that if your hand does sort of open and the card leak or, you know, get out of position, is when you put this last pack on top and you square the pack, you can use your thumb underneath to push it back in position, or use these fingers to kind of butt the card back in as you then put the card down. But the thing to remember of this move as well, it's only a transition movement, so you're not going to be, you know, once you've got the card in palm, you're not just going to hold it in this position. And there's a different variation as well, which you can use as a, if you're on the table, it just gives you more of a, it's kind of like a gambler's cop applied to the left-hand palm. So in this position, you square the card here, but it gives you the illusion you can open your fingers a bit more, but you're just palming it, in this case with your ring finger.
Okay. It's just deep in your palm.
Yeah. So you're when you do the move, you're only gripping it with the ring finger. But if say you're on like a table surface, this will give you a much more natural, you know, movement, because you've got this position, and then when you want to add the card, you can just bring it back and lay down the bottom. So yeah, that's the single card action palm. That's on Violin 2.0. Goes into much more detail, but it's one of those things that I've not seen the exact move. I've seen variations, like Ed Marlowe has a move from the bottom. When you swing cut the card, it's in like a gambler's cup from there. So basically whatever the bottom card is, so the king of clubs in this moment, when you put the card in, you've got the card in a cup, which is pretty useful. And then the only other one I've seen like this is like a palm replacement. So say you do, so you've got a bunch of cards that you want to add on. These are you know, stolen from your pocket, etc. It's basically the reverse of the move, like this, and then they're on the top.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of the time these movements are inspired by like Steve Forte and stuff like that. A lot of these kind of pseudo add-ons, they're crazy. Yeah, you can go real down the rabbit hole with a lot of those sort of things. So it's super fun. I think that covers that. There is one other variation, which is I don't think anyone want to learn it, but Hottie, I'll show you nonetheless. So you have the forest on top. So using the same movement, you've now got multiple cards in palm.
Wow.
Oh, very nice.
So the just show you again. So you have 4 aces in this case. Then in the actual cut of the pack is the same movement, but you get the 4 cards, or any number of cards you wish. This was so I initially wanted to do the movement, but I didn't have a method of getting the multiple cards in palm. So I showed I proposed the question to Justin Hyam. If you don't know Justin, he's basically one of those. Do you know everyone talks about like underground magicians being this kind of urban myth? I think he was one of Marlowe's like last students. He lives in London. If you ever get a chance to meet him, he's got some of the best hands in card magic I've ever seen. He can basically do anything, probably better than anyone I've seen. And equally, he's got loads of like illogical sleights as well, which are well worth checking out. But the movement for multiple cards is you have say a break under 4 on top, and where it's got a pinky break under 4. And what happens is where my fingers are, they're just going to roll to the left. So my fingers roll over to the left like that, and you can see there's a slight gap where the cards are moved over a bit. So that's the step you want to create here. Yeah, a tiny on the top of the pack. You can see it's just a tiny bit, and the only difference between the first move and this is that your crotch of your thumb clips the packet of aces, and then goes into the movement.
Wow. Okay.
So that's a little self-worker for you, and
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Wow.
Really good fun. I'll show you just while we're on this version of the Biddle trick. Just I think it's such a fun one to do.
Can I just ask you a quick question, Dan?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, always feel free.
We've got this little URL where people can buy your tricks from, but have you got a PayPal that people could just, if they want to buy your bundle, they can send you it in a PayPal straight away? Is that possible?
Yeah, by all means. If you you can do that if you want. I think you can pay via PayPal on Gumroad, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, extremely easy. I mean, I can set up the PayPal link after, by all means. It's.
I mean, if you wanted to give me the address, I can type it in now. People can then see it if you like. It's up to you.
Yeah. I mean, if you with that you can. It would just take me longer to send you the files individually.
Right, I see.
Because basically what happens is the files have been uploaded, so they can just download them as soon as they purchase it. It's on their account, and they can just download it straight away. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. It makes it a lot easier from their perspective. But I'll show you the. Do you have any other questions, or do you want to go into?
Somebody has asked, what's the difficulty rating you would actually put on your Penguin lecture? Would it be?
Yeah.
You need it advanced.
No, I think it's no. There, I put sort of advanced moments in there just because they're fun for me, if that makes sense. But in terms of no, this is something I want to highlight as well. I add a lot of sort of advanced touches to stuff, but when you run through the individual movements in terms of effects, and most of them I'd say are comfortable beginner to intermediate to advanced. So there's a lot of stuff in there that, with a tiny bit of practice, you'll be able to do. There's a lot of stuff in there that is very easy. The first trick in there, which is basically a combination of a Tom Wright idea and the David Williamson ripped and restored transfer, is as long as you can do a card fold and a double, you've got an absolute killer worker. Compared to some tricks that just use a force. Do you know what I mean? It's just a basic riffle force or any form of force. So I think it's kind of half and half. Like I've got multiple selection on there, card under box, which even if you never perform, it's they're worthy of study just because I can't remember who said it. I think it might have been Jamie Ian Swiss, but they said that card under box is like the cups and balls of card magic. So it teaches you everything that you wanted to learn in terms of timing, audience management, routing, escalation. So that's on there as well as the multiple selection. But again, you can take each one of them and use. I'd say is about half and half. Like there's a lot of easy stuff on there. Equally, I've put some of my most advanced stuff on there. So there's a real mix. So wherever you want from it. And for exactly. And for the sake of 40 quid. You spend that on a shit DVD with a gimmick, right? And you're getting, eight different things. It's probably about 6 or 7 hours of working stuff. Crazy.
A lot of material.
That's amazing.
That's it. And I'll show you I'll show you my favorite impromptu worker. This is one you'll be able to go out and do tomorrow.
Do you want the full screen for this?
Either just one of you is fine. Whoever you want to get rid of. Voluntarily, just
Cheers.
well, at least he's honest.
I'm bringing myself back in. I was teasing Andy.
You bastard. No. So the idea of this is, if I bring the camera down. So Joel, shuffle pack. I'm going to show you the first trick that got me into magic. So I was 15 years old in a youth centre, and the guy that I'm still friends with to this day, Mark, it was Rich Newman, just for pointless trivia. So the idea is that you would just reaching out like you're going to reach through the screen. So would you say stop?
Stop.
Okay, I'll show you the card. So you memorize this one.
Yep.
Yep. So
Oh, hang on, sorry, look again. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Got
in
it.
the center of the deck. And the idea of this is you're going to help me find the card. I know it seems a bit counterproductive because I'm being paid. Well, I'm not actually. Still, this is a favor. So would you mind saying stop anytime you wish?
Stop.
Okay. So I'm going to leave the packs here. So I've been following exactly where I think your card is, right? So at this point, I believe it's within the top view. I'm going to show you these cards one at a time. If you see your card, keep a complete straight face. Don't give anything away. Poker face, baby. So in this case, we have the 8 of Hearts. Not even a twinge. We have the 9 of Hearts. Oh, we have a red herring. We have the 10. In this case, we have the 6. And last but not least, we have okay. Now, did you see your card among these?
I did.
You did. The plot thickens. Dun dun dun. So I'm going to mix the cards like this, and as I go through them, you see that I've turned one over. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
If you didn't see that, you shouldn't be watching me anyway. However, if you go through the pack, you'll see that one card should be face down. Did you see our face up?
Did I see what? Sorry.
You see your card face up?
No.
No. So your card was the 10 of spades in that case.
That's the one.
Yeah, perfect. Now that's okay.
Yeah.
That's just finding a card. That's 1 in 5. This is 1 in 1 million, right? If you watch a card like this, you take the card, make it vanish. So we're now left with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the deck is obviously this would usually be in the spectator's hand the entire time. You then get them to spread through the pack, and then one card in the middle face down, and that is there.
Wow.
Of spades.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So that is essentially my take on Elmer Biddle's Biddle trick. So many good variations. I think one of the best I've seen as well is John Gustafero's. But another good one is I'll run you through the mechanics and different variations of. So the idea of it is
hang on, is this available on your bundle?
It is, yeah. It's on the Penguin Life.
Okay, brilliant.
It's on both. So if you wanted to, I do it for the Epic personally, but that's just me. But
you do know you don't have to run through exactly how that works. That is just, it's so good anyway.
Okay. Well, I'll run you. I can run through the basics if you want. So essentially, like you get yourself into the Biddle position, essentially. So you go through, show the card. You need to control it third from top. Josh shaking his head. He's like, no, don't reveal it. So basically, what I do is show the card like this, and then obviously from above, I just use my thumb to just take 2 extra cards on top of that. So
right.
So wherever your card is, my thumb just goes on 2 cards above it and takes those, and then keeps a break between the packets. Yeah?
Right. Okay.
You can control those to the top, and then flip the pack over. This is the fun part, especially you need to get this packet face down in their hand and your half face down in your hand. So what I do is just usually take a bunch of cards from the front of the pack and just mix those around because it does absolutely nothing, but it looks like it's a lot more of a deceptive procedure than it is. So you get them to stop right there. So I take this half end for end and put that in their hand.
Okay.
So basically, I'm gripping that for wherever they say stop, gripping that, flipping it over face down in their hand. As I do that, you can either just use your fingers to turn this packet over, or I just do a deck flip and put this down. So it's both kind of blend in, right? So as
Yeah.
you put those cards down, it looks like nothing's happened in that sense because the topology kind of gets lost. I spread over a bunch of cards. I spread over 5. And I say yours, I believe, is among these. I don't bring attention to the number because obviously you're going to count those in a moment. So why give away the information just to reconfirm what they already know? So I'll take over the 5, flip those face up. So the traditional biddle still, which I'll show you, is you hold the grip in hold the pack in a biddle grip. So you take the first card like this, you show that one. Take the second card, show that. As you take the third, you maintain a pinky break between the two. Just cancel that pop up for Viagra. I don't need that right now. So you show the third card. As you then take the fourth card, this pack gets added on. Yep. So that's now sitting on top of the queen. As you take the next top card underneath, so you've stolen the queen underneath, and that card is added on. So I'll show that again. For clarity. So the card is selections third from the face. You take 1, take 2. As you take the third one, you get a pinky break. So that's now under that. The packet goes on top. So that's now aligned with the queen on the bottom. As you continue in action, take that card off. So 4 and 5. One point to note is you need to memorize what the card is for the miscall in a moment, which I believe is the sort of most deceptive bit. So I say we have 1, we have 2, 3. Memorize that. Pinky break.
Yeah.
Steal that under the pack as you say 4, 5. This goes on the table, and then you're done. Essentially, everything else is just bullshit from this point. So you, I mix these up. It does absolutely nothing. The only thing I would say is that if you've got a massive, a big card like the Ace of Spades or a really obvious card on the front, I just mix that to near the back. Because what you're going to do in a moment is an elms account from a position. But no. So the idea is you take a random one from any position. I just take it from here. I put it second. I put it just above the bottom card. So all I do is get a pinky pull down of the bottom card, or you can just do a block push off and just put it above the bottom card. Whatever you want to do, your life, your choice. But you put it in the just above the bottom card in that position, and then I push it in. So the count you're going to do is just just to show the 5 cards like this. So you take the first card and say, "Don't tell me if you see your card." Like this. So take the first one. This goes underneath the packet as a stolen back. And the continuing action, you take the next one and say card number 2, number 3. Just taking single cards at this point. Number 4, and then the last one, because they've already seen this, I'll just kind of flip that over, just so it blends in a little bit. And so up to speed, you take 1, it's stolen back under. As you take 2, 3, 4, and 5. You immediately don't give them any any time to question this. You say, "Did you see your card?" They say, "No." This is impossible because it's not there. You take this one face down, flip the pack over, look at it towards yourself, and then you miscall it for the one that you memorized. You say your card was the Queen of Hearts, yes? And they say, "Yes, and have my children." And then once you've named the card, you just do a tent banish. All you do is put the card in that position. So Arthur Finney's tent banish, your hand comes over the top like this, and you just let the card fall down. Obviously, don't let your thumb drop, just really not deceptive. So you, at this point, you pretend to take the card away, and then you drop whatever that is, show the 4 random cards, and then the most impressive bit. What's really cool at this point is you get one of 2 reactions. They'll either look at the top and bottom card. Most of the time, they're so adamant that it's the top card that I just run with it, and I say, "Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Your card, the shit." Okay. And I say, "It's not." Yeah. And then they turn over the pack themselves. They say, "Well, it's not the bottom, it's not the top." That's when you can see their their kind of assumptions collapse from under them, because they're like, "Well, where is it?" And then you emphasize the situation, the cards being in your hand the entire time, and then that starts to click and register in their head. And then you spread through, and they're like, that's when the F words start coming out. You run through, take it out, and then it depends on how you want to do it. I mean, if you want to control the timing, I usually just say, take it out yourself, or say, "What was your card?" If it's in partner, just bring the card up and say your card, the Queen of Hearts. Applause to you. And then, go and get laid. So that is, so that's really good. So that's the biddle trick, and that's one of 10 tricks like that. I believe they're all equally strong. in my Penguin lecture, Penguin Live Act. So
Yeah.
no
I
idea
just sorry. I just wanted to just like go over your bundle deal again because I want everybody to take advantage of this because I've got to be honest, at £40, and this is a lot of work that you've put into this. This is the Penguin Live, your close-up set, expert at the Chard table, Life is an Illusion, Gone, Banter, Violin, Violin 2, and Contact Chard. That's a lot of magic for £40.
So that's that could be you could easily have a professional pay your bills. So stuff I used to in mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
But equally, but I've tried to come up with stuff that's kind of a blend between stuff that plays well for magicians, but equally blows away lay people. So it's kind of a weird middle ground. But equally, all the stuff is achievable by the beginner to intermediate, and if they don't have a certain skill set, there's stuff in there that they can work on to
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions at that point?
Well, Jack has just made a little comment. He said if you can still get it on the 15th of July, he'll pick it up. So will the deal be available for a short amount of time, a longer amount of time?
I'm happy to keep it up for for as long as this remains up. And if you want to take advantage of it now, go ahead. By all means. And then but like I said, there's no pressure. I think it's it's a deal that should sell itself in that sense. It's not you'd spend similar on a DVD or a gimmick, and this is like I said, stuff you can use for a gig. And then
absolutely. So I've got a little question for you, Dan.
Yes.
Oh, sorry Andy, go on.
No, I was just going to say your Penguin Live is what, 4 hours?
4.5.
4.5. So what you're paying is £10 an hour for your Penguin lecture, and then everything else is just free.
Yeah, well, certainly it works out about £10 an hour, right? Because it's cheaper than that. The benefit of the because the explanations I did were with one of the Penguin team, Nick Lacopo, who's an amazing corporate magician from the States in Columbus, Ohio. But I think it's the real benefit you get is the discussions between us both, because he's he's a worker with real amazing experience, and he brings out the sort of questions that you'd never ask. But I think those tips and the bits, the discussions in between tricks, I think could arguably be more valuable than the tricks themselves. So I think that's it's kind of like we've done like nearly 2 hours, and that's just touching the surface, right? Could probably go on for another 4. I wouldn't, because people haven't got the attention span. But
Scott's just made a good point. Scott Clark says, at the price, you pay for the Penguin Live and the rest is free. Which is absolutely bang on. Yeah.
Okay, and cool. It's not going to be an offer that's ever repeated, so I'd make the most of it now. So I don't think there's ever going to be time. It's as Scott said, usually the Penguin Live is £30. I think it's about $40 it works out as, but all the rest for a good price.
So head over to tinyurl.com/RW Epic Bundle. There you go, and you'll pick that up there.
So we'll put you can put the link in the comment as well, can we? Or in the video.
I missed that. Say that again. Sorry.
I was going to say we can put the links up in the video.
Oh yeah, I've dropped them in already. They'll be on there. And what we'll do once the video's finished, I'll edit the title of it and stick the links in anyway, so they'll be able to pick that up. So I've got a little question for you, Dan. Somebody mentioned earlier on. I'm going to find, and he mentioned about how none of us are using bicycle cards. It was Jimmy Willis. He said, "May I ask each of you why none of you seem to use bicycle cards?"
Yeah, well, I guess no, I do. So in terms of a gig, I'd always use bikes, just because they're so what's it called? They're so easily accessible. And I think here I've got a bundle. I usually have like 4 or 5 decks in rotation. So I usually have loads sort of together, different stacks, different. But when I'm practicing, I'll have like 2 or 3 on rotation. And I think since the lockdown, I've always just thought, why use bikes? Why not just use the gaffs are available in, they're much more accessible with bikes. But I think in terms of other cards, I'll probably switch to like Tally Ho, you know, because for the
Yeah.
sake of like an extra £2, you know, you're getting a nice deck.
Yeah.
And you know, given they look better to give away, I think, and there are certain, or I might keep them for certain tricks where you're not destroying cards, for example, and then use bikes or whatever cheap equivalent to use from that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
I think
Uh,
every professional uses them, don't they? They're just easy to get. They're
yeah, they're just so
Yeah.
accessible, aren't they? Really.
they're cheap.
Andy uses his own cards at the moment.
Okay. See, I don't
I've
have.
been using them for a long
I don't
time,
have that.
Joel. I've got 15,000 in a bedroom upstairs.
How many have you got?
No, I haven't. I got 1,500 decks.
Okay.
The main reason I got them, obviously for marketing, when I that's my logo.
Yeah.
And when I perform, I hand them out and that sort of thing. But I bought them initially. Do you remember when? It's political now.
Be careful.
Donald Trump put sanctions on Canada for the imports. You couldn't get bicycles for about 2 months, 3 months at
Okay.
Costco.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I
and
remember.
I go through, so I go through a lot. So I thought, well, you know, for the amount I spend on them, I might as well. And I looked into it, and it wasn't that much more. So I bought a lot.
Yeah.
I
So
remember that
yeah,
period.
if anybody wants any, let me know. I've got loads of them. I'm not gigging.
I
But they are
remember
really good quality.
that was crazy. That was you know, Costco's up and down the country sold out. And then my friend gave me that tip, so I went immediately to the one in Bristol, and I bought about, oh Christ, it must have been about 70 bricks.
Yeah.
I spent about nearly 800 quid to a grand, I think, on bikes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were literally all in my wardrobe, man. I had a boot full of bikes, and I gradually sold them off. But I don't know. Yeah, it depends on But yes, it's a great idea to use your own custom cards, because especially if you're doing loads of them,
Yeah.
and they look great. I think it's
Have you ever noticed when you've got loads of playing cards, you just tend to rip through them really quick or just burn them out?
yeah.
Got loads of decks.
And I've
Yeah.
never I guess it's always been, you know, in terms of tiny houser bikes, just because they're cheap and pretty accessible. But I've never had certain afflictions with brand, or they just they just are what they are.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
If you have to do a gig with W. Smith cards, then you just deal with it, don't you?
Yeah. I remember once turning up to a gig, and what happened? So for some reason I forgot my playing cards, but in the back of my car, I had this like really cheap packet of. In fact, they were Waddingtons. Do you remember Waddingtons?
Yeah, they were great. Yeah, they used to have them.
Yeah, when they were actually linen finished. So I turned up to this gig, and I thought, well, I've got these Waddingtons, I'll use these. And I fanned the cards, and it transpired they weren't linen finished. I didn't even fan the cards. As I tried to fan the deck, it's like this happened, where I'm going to go, but then honestly, they picked a playing card, right? And they looked at it and they went, what am I meant to do with this? It's like, you what? They turned it over and it was blank.
Oh, wow.
And then I looked at the whole pack and it was all blank.
Christ.
Yeah. And that was a packet of pudding. So
yeah, no, I've had a similar experience where I forgot like my case or something like that. So now I always in the back of my car, I've always got like a little lunchbox with like an Omni deck, Nesta wallets, Sharpie, and sorry, my dog's just playing with toy. And then you hear a squeak in the background. So I always keep like a sorry.
Are you sure that's
I always keep like a little lunchbox with like all the stuff I'd use at a gig. So it'd be like cards, Omni deck.
I think he really needs a toilet. I think Dan just needs a toilet right now, and that's that sound.
I do. I just need a poo. That's all. It's just need fiction.
Oh,
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So, if anybody has any more questions, let us know. I'll be going to ask Dan another question.
I've got a question for you, Dan.
Sure.
So I keep going back to shin limbs, shin splints.
You're what, sorry? Shin limbs.
Shin splints.
Yes.
Have you seen it? Yeah. I keep going back to it because one day I'm going to get it. Is there anything you've ever worked on that you've just gone, I just can't get it? It doesn't work for me. Is there anything that's sort of your nemesis when it comes to magic in general?
Yeah, well, it's, my relationship with my ex-girlfriend was kind of like that, so that didn't go too well. But no,
Sorry
in
to
terms
bring it up.
I know, no, it's fine. She's a bitch. No, no, in terms of effect, I think there's a couple that I've worked on. What do you mean tricks that you still can't do, or do you mean?
Just something that you well, twofold really.
Sure.
A slight that you just can't really get the grip of, whether you just my finger just doesn't bend in that way, or I can't do it, or an effect or a trick that you always want to do, but you just no matter how many, it just doesn't feel right or it doesn't come across right.
Yeah, sure. I think for me, like an any card at any number, if I can memorize that.
Yeah.
And she's coming over. Cheers, man. So an any card.
Baby.
What's that?
Sounds like a crying baby.
No, it's not, mate. It's a it's my dog.
Oh, what's the dog called?
Luna.
Sorry,
Luna.
I thought you said Himmler. What?
Himmler. That's like a bloody German butcher. No, but it's just so like an any card, any number of the memorized stack. Maybe a bottom deal in terms of no, actually twofold. So I think a bottom deal consecutively that looks deceptive. A pass, I think, has always been a bugbear. It's always been one of those moves I've had a love-hate relationship with, because sometimes it looks great, other times it looks shite. Or the diagonal palm shift. It's one of those moves that I don't know. There's always something about the movement I don't like, and that makes sense. Like it works, it's functional, but there's something about it I don't like. So in this case you have the 2. This goes back in the deck, and then as you spread the pack, you've got it from your etc. But there's certain things about the movement I don't like. One of them is this action where you're like this double sort of squaring. If that makes sense. There's movements that get rid of that, but there's just a few. It's just one I've always had a love-hate relationship with it. It works, it's functional, I use it a lot, but there's just something about it I don't like.
Yeah, no, I totally get you with that. With the diagonal palm shift, I'm the same. I'm like, there's just that half a move too much.
Exactly that, and I think to be honest, when you're saying about David Williamson earlier, taking a lesson with him, which I think I'm going to book a few. He's got one where he does it from a peak. So like from that position, it's down, and you've got the card away. But I think there's some. I don't know if I've got onto this, but John Carney's got a crazy version where you place the card in the back, you go into so from that position, and then it's cheeky as hell, but it works. And then there's another fun position where you cut the pack and you have the card in palm, which is taught earlier. There we go. Sorry, 2 seconds.
You're right. Yeah, that's great. Do you perform the diagonal palm shift then, Andy?
Yeah. So I mean, it literally is that. It's that extra move. I'm never really. So from there, it's that extra move.
Exactly. I mean, because you do the mechanics, pretty deceptively, and I think it's just it's that last.
So, I mean, I even messed about with doing it half, and so you'd have the card stuck out. So you'd relax and then do it, and then you'd come across as though you were just talking and feel it out. Then
there are some. There's a couple of movements
version of it.
There's a couple of versions like that. Paul Chossey's got a method where you essentially show the card as it goes in. You can dribble it back. Then from there, you've got the card in position. But going back to Ernest Eric's by Forces Unseen, he's got a method where you literally said like that, where you delay the method. You can gesture, etc. But I mean, the position you're in there, you could always just steal that out into like a Tenkai palm. Do from there. I think. But going back to staying on subject, his method was you get into the position, say what you're going to say, and then as you spread the deck, you're in position to do what you want. I think it's there's so many good versions with it. I think what's nice about it as well, you can do it as a as a diagonal double undercut replacement. So say you've got 4 cards on top that you want to get to the bottom, you can do the the movement, and then you've got so you eliminate this horrible movement, which replace it with something that's just like you're squaring the deck, kind of back and forward, and then you've got that.
No, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those that you sort of you use and you use and you use, and then I'm sometimes lazy and I use a short corner and it does exactly the same thing to get the card to the top.
It does, it does and it doesn't. I think the original was probably the best in Erdnase. I think still probably one of the best descriptions. What he did was, I presume it's a he. I can never assume gender in 2019, 2020 even. So you get them to, you hold it in quite a high grip, and as they push the card in, you maintain quite a strong grip on it, so they can't push it any further. Which means at that point you then go to square the card in, and then you've got the motivation to.
Wow.
I think the only other movement like that is probably Paula Paul's. I can't remember the name of it. It's in the Magic of Paula Paul, but essentially you take the say the 5, tap the card in, and then from this kind of messy position, what you need to do is straighten out the deck, and then you can cut to the selection at that point.
Right.
Which is really good fun. Or his automatic jog. So you show this case the 6, and then as you square the pack, you've got you can establish a break and then go to your control.
Yeah,
which doesn't work. Second from bottom, but close enough. You didn't prefer.
Yeah.
I thought we preferred too.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
One nice little thing that I've seen, which is really nice, and it's kind of using the Mallow, like the tilt idea, to palm a card out is, so you've had your card selected, when you put it back in the pack, you actually just put it straight into a cop. I don't know if you can see. Which is just that eliminates any kind of anything. You just copy it straight away.
What's interesting about that, I think the actual method of faking a tilt and putting the card in essence straight into the bottom palm is I think it's Marlowe's. So I think it's his creation, because I think the only other person I've seen do it, which is does it incredibly well. You don't see anything. Is Vegas guy. Cloak of Invisibility. What's his name?
Harry Potter.
Brilliant. Harry Potter. Yes. On stage in Vegas, Daniel Radcliffe. His career's gone downhill.
He's doing magic shows at the moment.
Yes, no shit. What's his name? I can't think of his name. My mind's just gone blank. The guy that does the Cloak of Invisibility cards across.
Oh, I'm not sure.
In Las Vegas.
Yeah. Everyone's probably screaming on the
magician.
Crap. I know his name. It's literally as soon as we click off this camera, it's going to be
Matt King.
Matt King. Yeah, that's there we go.
Yeah, that was Gary Middleton. Well done, Gary.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate.
Andy was claiming credit for that there.
Yeah, exactly. So so basically he demonstrated that because he thought he came up with it, and Paul Sylvester, wrong spelling, my friend. I'm not joking. So he basically come up with the move independently and thought that was I think he called it like the Hank palm or something. But it turned out to be an Ed Marlowe idea, just like pretty much everything.
Great stuff, yeah. Excellent.
Everything we've talked about tonight is probably Ed Marlowe's lost in some sort of secret manuscript, hidden by his ex-wife, hidden behind the partitions in a wall. I don't know. Crazy stuff.
Cards.
Was that?
Paul said, no, I said all the secrets will be buried with all those decks of cards that he's thrown away. And
yeah, I think so. Any more questions or any?
Not at the moment, but what I did want to just quickly do, if it's okay, just to go over the bundles one last time. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Okay, let's go over your initial bundle. So
Yeah,
you
this is
head
the
to
basic part.
tinyurl.com and you'll be able to pick up the Penguin Live, which in there it's got your live act and it's got your close-up act, which is great for like parlor shows and things like that. And then you've got expert at the Chard table. So go to tinyurl.com/W bundle. So make sure you check out that. And then if you want the epic bundle, this is everything. Head over to Real Work. You get the Penguin Live, the professional close-up set, expert at the Chard table, Life is an Illusion, Gone, Banter, Violin, Violin 2, and Contact Chard. And it's only £40. You head over to tinyurl.com/RW Epic Bundle.
And it's, yeah, like I said, it's not going to be repeated anywhere else, so make the most of this.
Yeah, we will, don't we?
Yeah,
We
enjoy
told
it.
you.
We'll be increasing our magic collection this evening.
More stuff can just sit on your hard drive.
So, Andy, I was
Yes.
wondering, have you got the Wheel of Misfortune?
Oh, I
I
like
can
it.
get the Wheel of Misfortune.
The Wheel of Misfortune. What the hell is that?
The Wheel of Misfortune.
So, Dan, what we usually do before a guest leaves, we spin the Wheel of Misfortune. I didn't tell you about this. I do apologise.
Oh, you didn't? No. Do I have to tell
Sorry,
my phone?
mate.
What is this?
This is the Wheel of Misfortune. Basically, we're going to spin the wheel. It's going to land on something, and we're going to put you on the spot. So, the wheel's spinning. Oh, spill the beans.
Spill the beans.
Spill the beans.
Go for it. What was your name?
Is there anything? Is there a story or anything that you've neglected to tell anybody over the years where you think, oh, it's just I can't tell them. That's just far too embarrassing. Or,
I think, yeah, this was kind of a lesson in. It was kind of a lesson in what to say to people, and it's basically a woman. The long story short, a woman ended up playing a joke on me after I made a sort of remark to her, and that was a lesson. Like, never say stuff like that again, just because you never know, how far you can push in that respect. So basically, what happened was, I was doing a. I'll tell you why not. So basically, I was in Salou doing a bar set. So I worked for Rodney Piper for 2 years doing the the bar set opening for like 50, 60 people. I think it was at the kind of the the start of like season 1, I think. So this was very, very early on. Probably like April, super sunny outside, hot as hell. So I'm doing my card tricks, and I got to the end where I did like my 10 card multiple selection. By the end of it, getting everyone cheering, a real big showpiece. And I get to like card 6 or something, right? And this woman, I said, right, love, name your card out loud, tell everyone. All I heard was like 4 of hearts. I was like, someone's been out in the sun. Someone's obviously lost their voice. Come on, love, don't take the mic. Tell everyone what your card is. And she, said it again, like 4 of hearts. And I said, like, you're taking the mic now, love. Come on, stop ruining the show. Shout out to everyone what the card is. And she goes, I got throat cancer. I was like, fuck. I just wanted the world to like swallow me in at that point. And however, this was the fun part. It felt like something was kind of wrong with that. No, not that. Yeah, no, that's terrible. No, it's not something to joke about, but that was the sort of lesson it taught me. But the thing about the story was that it felt kind of off to me anyway, because I was speaking to nearly everyone beforehand, so that's something you would, a distinctive voice that you would remember, right? Especially if it's entirely different to everyone else's. And after I was working with Matt Edwards from Britain's Got Talent, and he overheard like her joking to her friend about it, and she didn't have anything wrong with her. She was just like playing for the crowd, but that was she was lying in front of everyone. But that was enough of a like a wake up call, a lesson that if that had have been true, I would look like a massive dick. 2, it was a lesson in kind of knowing what to say, how far to push stuff, and conversely, like knowing your limits in that respect, right? It was yeah, it's that was a lesson, man. It sunk me to like the pit of my stomach, because that's like,
It's a hard way to learn something, but you learn something.
yeah.
Makes it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, for sure. I mean, it's you know, I've said stuff since that's probably got me in trouble, because I think that's the thing with comedy, isn't it? Like you take certain risks, you say certain jokes. I mean, it's going to be interesting going back to performing now, especially with like the political climate. You know, like how offense has been kind of magnified by you know, events and stuff has happened in the world since. So I think everyone's going to be almost too afraid of offending people now. So I think unless you are a comedian on stage, but equally I've seen kind of tweets from like comedy agents that are saying, like, you know, if you're known for a certain offensive thing, or you've got offensive material, they won't be booking you. And it's it's crazy. So it'd be interesting to see how that kind of unfolds itself in the world. And, but yeah,
It is getting easier to offend people as well, isn't it? It's just
it is.
It's quite subjective as well. I mean, what could offend Joel and myself and somebody else is completely different. So having to juggle all that,
and it's almost easier in the sense not to kind of get into that territory, because you, like you said, you don't know what could offend someone. So it's almost like, I mean, I can't be asked for the compensation. Do you know what I mean? I don't want that back and forth. It's because like because I, you know, that's all I learned that from bar magic very early on, is that, you know, if you I had all these heckler stoppers, you know, all these lines that would make them look really silly, the whole crowd would turn on them, everyone would laugh at them. But, you know, it's always like, is that really a victory? Do you know what I mean? Because it kind of, yes, you know, I had that short term kind of gladiatorial feeling. Yes, you know, I've overcome this twat in the audience. However, in the same vein, it's like you never really win that, because obviously that's a bad taste they then take away from magic, and, you know, that kind of escalates. You know, he could leave a bad review. You never know, right? And that's such a
absolutely,
you know, like they say.
In the same vein, people do still want that sort of thing. I mean, you know, if I saw a comedy, and, you know, part of a good comedy or good comedy act is sometimes saying what you shouldn't say or what you unexpected.
I think I mean, for most cases, like certainly behind the bar, that's, you know, still going to be largely the case. I think, you know, material is a bit blue, just like kind of wary. But equally, it's knowing your crowd. It's, you know, you can generally tell the extent to which you can go into a group like that, right? You know, like certain people like that can get away with stuff like that, like Mark from Smoke and Mirrors, Mark Bennett. You know, he can get away with way more than I can, because you know, deliver the lines in a way that takes away a lot of the sting that
even without the seriousness, or
which just, if I said the same line, it looks like I'm just being harsh, you know, rather than like trying to be funny, right?
I think a lot of like delivery is also the tone that you deliver it in, because sometimes you know, I think somebody could go on stage say an offensive joke, and then the audience are in absolute shock, but the same person could go on stage, say the exact same joke in a different tone, and the audience will laugh, you know?
That's exactly it. Like, you know, if we said the same joke, me and you, because of our accents, you know, how we deliver, how we come across, how we're built in some respects, you know, that's all going to have a sort of input into how they take that. And I think that it's both a, you know, something to be mindful of, but equal, not kind of put too much emphasis on.
Oh no, definitely. It's something we are all having to deal with and all having to rearrange. And even I mean, my thing, I'm starting. I've got tester jokes. I've got tester jokes which, you know, are quite plain, but if they laugh at those, then you up it a little bit, and then you up it a bit more, and you know, you find your level, and then you can go from there.
Well, interestingly, in the deal, how I've made this plug, I have no idea. So basically, on the Penguin lecture and the Epic Bundle deal, I teach a trick called banter, which is basically like a progressive do as I do, which uses you know, like the question and answer style jokes, like you know, what's called man, that blah 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 blah, bang, you know, that kind of joke. But using that, and they gradually get more offensive. depending on the scenario, that can be a really good. It's one of those tricks that it can be like a running gag throughout the entire act. You could do one. I used to use it as kind of like an audience test. So, for example, like, I want to see if we're gonna reciprocate, whether you're gonna be the right volunteer for me, etc. Do you know what I mean? Like a kind of an audience test, and that works really well. It was is a routine that can get really offensive. I used to land it. My third joke used to always be like a real stinger, and so I think I'd have to change that now. But it's one of those things. I think you could play it, quite family friendly with some audiences, but equally have a set of like blue material for like your adult shows. And I've used it for both, but it's really good fun. I mean, if anyone wants it, just send me a message. I can send you a PDF. It's super fun, and it's one of those probably one of the most original things I've come up with. I think
that's banter.
Yeah, you've taken like a do as I do, like but made it something different, essentially.
Into a comedy piece, really, rather than just a card piece. It's a whole routine.
Yes, it's more comedic. Whether it's not. I'm not saying it's the funniest thing in the world, but it's certainly something that you can play to fit some. Depends on the environment. So many different uses for it, and I think the concept is probably still in its infancy, but I think it's going to be one of those tricks that someone takes and then one day shows me their variation, and then I'm just like, yeah, I should have thought of that.
I'm sure it's already really good. I think you're probably downplaying it quite a lot.
Bless you.
Okay, cool. So, well, thank you very much for joining us, Dan. I've got one last question.
Yeah.
What's the one thing, once lockdown's done, what type of gig are you most looking forward to getting back to doing?
Magic bar and jumping on stage again, man. Smoke and mirrors. Yeah, I think that's an easy question.
Yep.
Yeah.
Smoke and mirrors.
Just because it's going to be an interesting challenge in terms of like doing magic again, but like with social distancing and still having the same impact. But because I think it's going to teach us like valuable lessons as performers that are going to cross over into many different domains. Because I think it's going to be interesting for sure, but I think it's going to teach us lessons now because we're going to have to put like all the emphasis on interaction with people. So that's going to be a really beneficial outcome in the long term, I think. So should be good.
Hey, lovely. Thank you very much for joining us, mate.
No problem, man. It's been good fun.
Yeah, really, thank you so much. And I've learned something new as well. It's always amazing. So thank you.
It's very good.
Thank you.
Like I said, this will be up for as long as however. And then go and buy the Epic Deal or the just it makes sense.
Yeah, pick it up. Come on, people. Lovely stuff.
Any questions, shoot me a message on Facebook. I'm fairly accessible.
Yeah.
And, I will not ignore you.
I've got one more question.
Boom.
Sorry. I do apologise. Right, one more question. So you're known for doing a lot of card magic. Other than sponge balls, we've had a little chat about sponge balls, but is there anything else that you kind of obsess over as much as you do with cards, or?
There's not necessarily stuff I obsess over, stuff that I really want to learn that I haven't. I've got like a couple of tricks that I really want to get to the same level as some of my card stuff, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I really want to master Tom Wright's chocolate routine. I think that's probably the best. I think cups and balls has always been a trick I've wanted to learn, but I've never really, had the time. Well, I've had the time, but I've never put the time into the effect. Ninja rings are, super fun. I've got a handful of those, but they're not quite there yet. I think what else? Coins. Yeah, coins are.
I was going to say, I can kind of picture you doing some kind of a 3-fly routine.
Yeah, it's one of those things I've always had a love-hate relationship with. I think with coin magic, it's either the person doing it's either really good or it's either extremely deceptive or shit. You don't usually get much in between. you know, I love seeing guys like Ponta the Smith. You know, watching his stuff is just absolutely beautiful. Yes, you know, we may be seeing the best take, but watching his stuff is just like cardistry with coins, right? It's just pure eye candy.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I seen Chris Kenner do Free Fly, absolutely blew my mind. Yeah, just a great trick. I think
Yeah.
trying to think what else. If I could master it, there's a trick by Herman Lewag, Coin One. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's the effect.
It's basically a fingertips coins across, where the coins are on your palms.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like a jump over. There's a lovely moment that he created that I think it's original to him, where he throws one coin over and says, "You'll see this moment happen." You've got 2 coins in this hand, 2 coins in this hand. He throws one over. You see it physically, you know, go through the air, catches it. But there's still 2 coins in each hand. It's a really trippy. You're like, okay, what?
Yeah.
You know what the hell? And then instantly they jump over, and you're like, shit, that's incredible.
Wow. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Oh wow. Right. So your challenge then, Dan,
Yes.
is get that done and let's see it.
I will, my friend. Will do. Is there any other questions for anyone else, or is that well? It's probably just us now, I think.
No, everybody's just saying about you know, just following up on comments from what we've been talking about. Can't see you causing any worry or offence.
Yeah.
So no, everybody's just been very nice.
It's very kind. I suppose it's a blessing in lockdown and they've got nothing else to do, so they can.
It is, and it's such a nice way to spend a Wednesday evening that you know, you can have a chat, you can learn something new, and obviously join the rest of the community by giving everybody.
Exactly, you know, I'd be sat here messing around with cards anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so it's literally no different. We just get to catch up and get to see you in my
Well, hopefully, all being well, we get to sort of see each other all February at Blackpool. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that goes ahead, man. So that would be super fun.
I think it will. We still got to think positive about that.
Yeah, I think if it does come off, it'll be the best Blackpool ever. I think people will be so happy to be in that environment. It will be such a great sort of.
I think if there's any event that could spike COVID again, it would be that, right? Like, I think
like other diseases, but there we go.
I think that's what kicks it off.
I don't really drink, but like if Blackpool did go ahead, it would be like the biggest piss up. Like, dude, you know, bottles of whiskey, you know, just getting absolutely shit faced. It would be amazing. I think it's, you know, get all the lecturers drunk. Do you know what I mean? Just have the best, like, you know, Michael Lamar drunk in cups and balls, just like Danny Diorti's pissed out his face. Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
That's great.
Imagine that's the Ruskin, really, isn't it? That's
I stopped going to Blackpool for like 5, 6, 7 years just because I just couldn't be bothered. And then I went back thinking, you know, it's been long enough, and you know, regretted not going the rest of the time. It's such a fun, you know, literally you spend, well, for anyone that's been, I just spent probably the whole time looking around the dealers. You know, even I say to myself every year, everything in the dealers hall, you know, aside from maybe 2 or 3 exceptions, is available online. All of it is available on their websites. Yes, you might get a slightly cheaper deal. They might be trying to get rid of all their stock, fine, but most of it is available online. But with that said, you spend nearly all of your, well, I spent 3 days just walking around the same bloody hall, looking at the same stuff I've already looked at. You know, and just like, what the hell am I doing, man? Like, I could be watching.
It's part of the experience, though. I mean, it's such a wonderful experience and such a great atmosphere.
All the BO, you know, the backpacks. For me, it was like a Dodgems for backpacks. You know what I mean? It was like people were walking around the dealers hall with bags that you would wear for like traveling the world for a year. Do you know what I mean? Like you would, they'd have these backpacks or like fucking mountaineering sacks, these just massive bags full of like, it felt like they had rocks in, man. You know what I mean? They're like banging you with their bag, and you're just like,
didn't you set like a bag size limit last year?
I think so. Yeah, everyone was getting searched, weren't they? I think.
Yeah, everyone was kind of limited to a bum bag.
Yeah, which was
But you're allowed a bag this big.
it's like the only time you'd wear a fanny pack outside of Florida, right? Like just
Yeah.
it was just it's a fun experience. I hope it does happen. But I mean, what would happen if it wasn't? It's like an online equivalent. It's not the same.
No, it's not the
No,
same. Is it?
no, I don't think so. And I
Yeah.
don't. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
you're open. I mean, we do this, and this is a couple of hours, and
Yeah.
you know, it's great. But to have people for 2 hours, you know, they're going to go and make a drink and all that sort of thing, and then you know they've got other things to deal with. So
Yeah.
just being in that captive environment's completely different. So yeah, I don't think. Mind you, Vanishing Ink did was it 24 hours or 8 hours, something like that?
That was
They did
and well, Studio 52. Excuse me, I'm not sure what happened to my voice. It's Studio 52.
yeah.
It's that story when it's coming back to haunt me. Karma's a dick. And last time I'll say anything.
Yeah, Luca Volpe did one as well, a 24-hour online.
Yeah. They've both done. I mean, Ben's was insane. You know, they had guys like Bill Malone, Ashley Wind. I didn't see much of it because was I working or was I been in bed? I have no idea. But you know, equally, so many great guests. David Williamson. You had Steve Forty on for I think their 50-second live. That was like a proper like Hardman stream. That was like, you know, if that was like the equivalent of having like a nude Tina Turner or whoever your icon is, right? Tina Turner, no, I was going to say Lynn for Christie, but no, maybe for some people, I have no idea.
Yeah, some people it is, yeah.
Sure, why not? But yeah, it was just and I think that brought the community. Yeah, I have no idea where that came from.
No, I'm still wondering how the heck that came out of your mind.
It's a problem, isn't it?
Running about.
Yeah, just yeah. There's so many. That's
yeah. I don't know what the alternative is. I don't know what I mean, even if they limited it, could you imagine like a social distancing lecture where you've all got to be 2 meters apart and you?
No, I think that's one of the problems that's going to happen with gigs is that it's the intimacy and the close contact is probably the one thing that magic has that sets it apart, right? I think when you were to do like a gig, you don't get the same intimacy on stage that you do close up, but equally there's benefits of doing stage that you don't get in close up, I think. But I don't know. It's interesting to see how it all pans out because I think Zoom shows are amazing. They're fun. You can, some people have had some incredible ones, but you've got that fourth wall, right? You've got that 4K wall where just you've got that communication between you and them. It's like, because I could be doing anything under here within reason, but like, it takes everything. Deck switch could be. There's a lot of advantages to it. Like you could do some incredible card magic, but you wouldn't be able to repeat it live because you're deck switching like that, and you're moving out of camera, and you could do anything. Whereas, I don't know. It's because I didn't want to. I didn't go down that route myself because I didn't want to kind of not saturate the market. But I think by the time I had any inkling of like doing Zoom shows, everyone had kind of done them.
Yeah.
But have you done many yourself or?
I've done a few. I've done a few lectures as well, like into clubs. I've done a few like shows, and I've basically just sold them. What I've tried to do with them is just keep them really small. So rather than get loads of people on and try and just make money, when particularly before some of the restrictions have been lifted, some children, some people are just them morale must have just been so low. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the last thing that I wanted to do was go out on a Zoom show and perform for loads of people and actually just ignore everybody that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
So I've kept it really small. Yeah.
I think that the money thing's always been a funny. Don't get me wrong. There's certain people that charge insane amounts for gigs and get that, but like I've never understood the money, the magic for money sort of thing. It's like there's so many easier ways to make a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? Like you could be a plumber and earn like double what most magicians earn a year straight away. Yeah. It's yes, there are certain people that absolutely smash it. There's outliers in every case, but like I just do it 'cause I love it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's fun that you get paid for it, sure. But I think, do you find as well that that kind of commercial relationship with magic dictates your like personal, what's the word, like the things that you end up performing? Like we were talking earlier about commercial material. And I think that's one of the benefits that lockdown has had. Like I'm probably more, more in love with magic and more obsessed now than I probably ever have been, because I'm in that kind of floating semi-professional state, right? So I'm, I can pick and choose what gigs I do now, because obviously, we haven't got any coming in. But it's meant that I could learn material that I want to learn, as opposed to have to learn. I've not had to learn a SpongeBob routine. I can learn complex card stuff, and it's given me that
time.
Give you
the time.
It's
all
special.
process.
Because it's like this, like we're talking for nearly 2.5 hours. Like this could go on another 10. It's like there's nothing, there's no shortness of stuff we could talk about.
No,
but
I mean, I've been full time 15, 16 years,
okay.
And I found sort of 10 years into it, I would not take any cards out when I went out, and I wouldn't take any effects out, because I was doing 3, 4, 5 gigs a week,
Sure.
and that's how I made my money. So it was like I was working again, and I'd lost that love for it a little bit. I was like, I really don't want to go into performance mode when I'm out just having a meal, or whereas when you're practicing and when you're an amateur, it's every opportunity to choose a card, do this, do that. And it's maybe over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, I've found my love for it again.
That's great.
And gone, do you know what? I will do something, because it's, I don't know, you start to appreciate what, some people never see a magician live ever
in their life. That's a scary thing. I think I've always kept the kind of commercial side and the hobbyist side, like, I suppose my professional work is kind of a synergy of the two in some respects, but equally, I've always kept because you perform your professional stuff so much, you don't really need to work on it as much. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, you can reflect and change certain parts of your scripts to tighten certain moments, but you don't need to the technical stuff, because you've done it so much, becomes muscle memory, right? So when you that frees up your mental capacity to then work on the hobbyist stuff. So I've always had that kind of disparity between the two, and I think the more I got into being a professional, the greater that kind of gap between the two became. So I'd work on more commercial stuff at one end of the spectrum equally, and then the most technical, stupid stuff at the other. Like one hand center deals on that shit, just all stupid stuff. But it's fun. You know what I mean? And that's the never losing that hobby. I think has always been the best advice I'd give anyone. It's like,
definitely,
it looks like it's going to fall asleep.
No.
There is always something to challenge you as well. It's unlike any other sort of, there's always another move. There's always another slide. There's always another different concept to magic. So that's what I really enjoy about it, is that I can learn something and feel like a beginner again the day after.
Yeah, it's also what you put into it yourself, isn't it? Just if you start giving up, you're going to give up, and that's it. If you're ready to expand your own knowledge, then pick up a book.
There's always heights to aspire to. It's like whether you the best all rounder probably is David Williamson. Do you know what I mean? Like, although he doesn't like to be labeled that, it's like he can do anything. Whether he's entertaining 1,000 people on a Disney cruise ship, or jamming with like hardcore card guys, he can do all of it. And that in some respects, he's arguably one of the greatest generalists, I suppose, in that sense. But equally on the other end of the spectrum, like guys like Steve Forey, who's not even a magician, but just like a card technician, and that's his hobby. But he's probably got the best hands in the world in terms of any card technicians, because everything he does just looks like he's dealing cards or shuffling them normally, and it's that level of kind of technical proficiency. And probably the annoying thing about our hobby as well is like many of the most influential and the best people, but objectively in some respects, have been amateurs. Vernon, was an amateur, he's had more of an impact on Magic probably than most in terms of like structural thought. Although he did have a time of touring, performing short, but like like Guy Hollingworth, he's a barrister for Christ's sake, but he's one of the best card magicians in the world, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, Guy Hollingsworth. I mean, his stuff is beautiful when he performs, and I think he's a barrister as well. So
yeah, in intellectual property law, I think. But but it's just like that level of passion. I think because there's no like no barrier of entry. Like there's no restrictions of what you can and can't do as an amateur. You can practice what you want. Yeah. That was one of the best things for me. Is no one told me that this stuff was hard. It's just like if you think about it, you're just moving cards around your hands, aren't you? You know what I mean? You're just pivoting cards around, or whatever the move is. It's just a pivot point, or that's it. You're just taking a card from a deck because you're not doing neuroscience, or like it's not you're not killing someone in surgery because you're fucking up with your scalpel.
I guess that's a good way of looking at it as well. You haven't got, although it feels like you've got a lot of pressure on your shoulders sometimes, particularly if you're doing something new, or you're performing a show of something new, or something's got to go right. That's the only real pressure. So,
it's all self-imposed, man. Like there's no, you see people that say like, oh, you can only be a performer or you can only be a technician. It's like, no, that's bullshit. Like, why can't you be both? It's it's going to be harder, sure, but like, I just don't see why you couldn't do both.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can do whatever you want. It's your life. Do whatever.
There we go, mate. We talk about that in the book on the Epic Deal. Oh yeah. But that's probably the thing I can leave it on. I think because there's not much really else you can say in terms of like, and it's just remembering like why you got into it, right? Like that's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Giving somebody that experience of magic, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah, I think the best
doing the best job that you can at it as well.
Yeah, because like it's like Andy said, you might be the only magician they see in their life. Like that's a huge responsibility, man. Like, I think the best person I've seen for that is Nate Staniforth. Have you seen much of his work?
No, not a lot of it. No, I've been told that it is absolutely amazing.
In terms of like,
should we check it out? There's like no excuse there for me not to check it out. I just basically said I've heard his stuff is amazing, and I basically said no, I haven't checked any of it out. I should be checking it out.
What I love about him is like his whole philosophy is about like that moment of wonder for spectators. It's like it's like what Paul Harris was kind of alluding to in the Art of Astonishment. It's just like that, making that whole experience about the most, because magic should be impossible, right? Like there's I think for me, doing some card stuff and some gambling stuff, I've never wanted to portray it as like this, mystical. I don't think that someone watches my if you do like a complex gambling demo that they think that I've got the power to open up another realm and walk through and shake hands with Krishna, right? Whereas in terms of stuff like that, but you can still structure stuff so they feel that stuff from even a brief moment, right? Like with stuff like Omnideck or impossible memory stuff, like there's many different ways. But yeah, I mean this conversation really go on for hours, man. But yeah,
definitely. I mean, it is. I don't know, but again, it comes back to that sort of monetary value. And if you're getting booked to do a gig and you've got 2 hours to get around 20 tables, you haven't got the time to sit and work on I mean, one of the biggest things that I sort of took from Art of Astonishment, he did a torn and restored with a leaf.
Yes, yeah. Great.
And I'm like, that is one of the most. Imagine walking out and just going, watch this, and doing this with a leaf, and then restoring the leaf.
Jesus.
Now that's magic. That is magic. Being able to do cards, probably yourself, or you're just good with cards.
Yeah. Dude, that's like shit you see in the Bible, isn't it? That's like
Do you ever see there's an effect? I can't remember what it was in, but it was a Paul Harris idea where you pluck a leaf off a branch and you get somebody to sign it and you put it back on.
Oh wow! No, that sounds great.
And you do it with grapes as well. You can do it with a grape on a stalk of grapes. You pluck a little grape off, they sign it, and you put it back on the stalk and give them it.
The Art of Astonishment.
No, but it's a Paul Harris idea. I can't remember what it's actually in. I'll try and find it, and I'll let you know.
It's like the stories of what's it on? It's on like Now You See Me, like when they I know people have done like, you know, where you sign a card and then it's in like the middle of a tree, like that kind of do you know what I mean? That style of yeah, that's playing the long game probably a little bit too much, but like there was one of the weirdest ones I ever read was it's like if you ever, I think it's like an ebook called like Cloud Busting or Cloud.
Oh yeah, Cloud Bust.
Yeah, so the idea that you could it was basically again, I might be paraphrasing or memorizing this completely wrong, but like the idea was that you could essentially, like, if you timed it right, make it look like you could sort of move clouds, you know, like manipulate them to your own
Yeah, you get somebody to pick a cloud and you both stare at it and imagine it fading away.
Yes, right, you know what I mean? But it's
and eventually that cloud fades away, but all the others remain where they were.
Yeah, it's crazy. Stuff like I think if any, you know, in terms of anything like that, we've just been like early kind of like scientists, or, you know, just trying to exploit any principle we can for any form of magic effect, right?
Yeah.
It's that kind of like modern alchemy in some respects, like.
Yeah, I realised one thing, and this I've done this a few times, and it has worked on people. When I've been walking next to a river, if you look at the way the water flows, right, if you find the right spot within the river, somewhere on the river will be the water flowing in another direction, right? And trust me, you will find this eventually. Like certain parts of rivers, you can see that a part of a river is flowing in one direction, or you get certain ripples that create the illusion that it's going in one direction, when in reality it's going another. So you can take advantage. You can take advantage of it, find that spot, and then tell somebody to have a look and point out that the river's going in this direction, right? Focus on it, and they focus on it, and then you carry on walking and say, now imagine in your mind that this river starts to flow in the other direction. Look back at the water, and when you look, it's flowing in the other direction.
Yeah. Crazy.
And there's something else that's like a natural-ish thing is street lights all go out at a certain time, and that time is actually published. The time the street light goes out. So you could almost, if you monitored how it works to your watch or how it works to your phone, you could do like a card at any number, like where you deal down a card at that point, the light's gone out, the street light's gone out, and it's their card. Or
if I was doing something that profound, I probably wouldn't mess with you know, good shit like that, right? But I think well, there's a guy who is it? I think is it the Jerks? Isn't he you know, have you ever read the blog The Jerks?
Yeah, I've read some of them. Yeah.
Andy, yeah, he's an amazing. I'd love to know who he is, but I kind of like the mysticism of not knowing. Like,
Andy. It is Andy.
It's Andy. I love the. I was chatting to Tyler Erickson about it. Like, I love the kind of the notion that, because he just says he's just an average, normal magician, just a run of the mill guy, but he's one of the most kind of eloquent, you know, thought-provoking in some respects writers that there is in magic. Darren quotes a lot of his stuff, but what's really good about it, I like the fact that it could just be a normal bloke. Do you know what I mean? There's no I think that would lose the kind of enigma of who that is, but he some of the stuff he talks about is like, because he's an amateur and he's setting up, he only wants to perform like impossible moments, but like it could be stuff like you can rig it like an entire house party just for like one effect, or, you know, you're playing like a long game, you start planning something in the middle of the day that won't pay off till the end of the night. Do you know what I mean? There's so many You know, it's not of use for the professional, maybe in a, you know, provoking creativity and stuff like that, but in terms of there's not going to be like a 2-card Monty variation you could perform. But I think that kind of that, you know, that idea of always thinking so far ahead, like, you know, if you were meeting up with a friend or your family, like, you know, setting something up or having stuff around your house just set up for a moment's notice. Do you know what I mean? That's the I think there's a link of the impact of an effect in proportion to how much effort it takes to get there, right? Where, you know, whether it's right, you know, if you look at a lot of Kieran stuff, you know, a lot of that stuff takes a lot of prep. And you know, the reason he gets an amazing reaction is because a lot of the time people just not necessarily can't be asked, like they don't want to put in the preparation, because like at lectures, I've had experiences where you show someone. I think the first ever lecture I did was I can't remember where it was, but it made me laugh. So I went in like a bull in a china shop. I just assumed every magician in the club was really, really good. I've since found out that magicians at clubs have differing levels of interest. So I just went in there all guns blazing, and I said, "Oh yeah, it's all right. For this one, just do a dangle a palm shift, and then you palm with this hand. So you've got 2 cards in palm. That kind of just like casual brushing it off sort of thing." And just seeing their eyes and popping out their head, it was just like, yeah, it's a crazy, like, there's such a disparity between like each thing. And I can't remember what the point of that was, but
right. Thank you, Dan. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
It's been good fun, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, mate.
Take care, buddy.
See you later, buddy.
Thank you for taking your time, Dan. We appreciate it.
Thanks for being in my life, Joe. It's been amazing.
You're welcome. Thank you, mate. Bye. Oh, wow.
How cool was he?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Excellent. I feel like I say it every week, but then we are magicians. We're meant to be amazing. We are meant to be, Yeah.
But not always necessarily to each other.
No. But
yeah, brilliant magician, Dan. Absolutely brilliant.
The steel was into palm, just fabulous. Yeah. That's what I'm going to be practicing for the next few weeks.
I think what I like about Dan, he's got a lot of technical ability, but you see a lot of magicians with a lot of technical ability, but Daniel also really thinks about, the nature of the effect, and that shines through. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just, I'm going to do this, and then this trick happens, and it's over here, now it's over there. It's like things have like little kickbacks, and he's thought about, I don't know, what is actually the outcome, I guess. But I know everybody thinks of the outcome anyway, but you know what I'm trying to say. He's got some
and it's not like you said, if it creates the best effect, I'll use a gaff or a gimmick or a gaff deck or something like that. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Right, I'm going to let you go, Sandy. You're Sandy now, by the way.
I know. I noticed I'm Sandy. Yeah.
Sorry.
The power's gone to your head.
It has indeed.
Before we go, what I thought was, we've gone through the videos this week, and I've got to be honest, I can't pick a winner.
Right. Okay.
Was the one that stood out for you in particular with the?
No, I like them all. I was hoping that I'll be honest, I was wanting to put this on you because you taught the Armsley count, you went over quite a few ideas. I was hoping that you would pick the winner. What we could, I was going to say we could have a little look, and one of them must have stood out to you.
Well, what I was going to do, because I'm that sort of guy, and, I appreciate all the time, because they put a lot of time into these videos. So what I thought I would do is everybody that entered, I will send you one of my deck of cards. So I will do that for you. So everybody that's entered, if you send us a DM, so on Facebook or an email, send us your address. I will post these out to you, and we'll get those out for you, because I appreciate every single one of you. You've done a fabulous job. You made me very proud with the Elmswood things.
Speech.
I'm not right here. I've tried a few times to come up with something a bit different, but I've had such a hectic week this week. I've not been able to get a video done. I did send you a video earlier of my sort of the act I'm working on as well. So that's what I've been working on.
Oh, right. Oh, it's a shame. I could have played it, but I didn't realise you wanted it playing.
No. Yeah, we can play it next week. I might change it and do something different next week, because you give me some nice little pointers for it. So I might alter it. So, but yeah. So Jack, I've got your address already, Jack. So I'll get yours out for you. Yeah. So there is, just to let you know, when you get them, you get a gaff card. So you get a double backer. You get a special card that's something a little bit different, so you can do a nice effect with it. Get a couple of jokers in there. So yeah, use them. I mean, they're a nice one-way design on the back,
Yep.
so you can spread through on both sides. So they're a nice one-way design. So easy card trick goes in, and then when you spread it the other way, you've actually got
One card. Yeah.
one card reversed. Look at
Cool.
that, done completely in the mirror. There you
Well,
go. We would have told my right was left and my left was right. So yeah, so I'll get those out for you. So
It's very nice of you, Andy.
from Joel and I to you, lovely lot out there.
Hey, we've got some quick comments. Timothy says, "Thanks, Andy."
You're welcome, Tim. No problem, Tim. I might even squeeze you a sponge ball in, Tim.
And thanks for Daniel as well. Thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate that. Some brilliant ideas. An amazing bundle deal. We've dropped the bundle deal within the comments. We're going to end the video in a little minute. So you've got a direct link to take advantage of them deals. So make sure you do, because it's always great.
I mean, all that material. I mean, 2 of those effects that he showed us are well worth.
Absolutely, yeah. Worth that alone. Amazing ideas. Yeah. Right, Andy, take care of yourself.
Yeah, look after yourselves. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Oh, and the ones, Joel, just before we go, tomorrow, the ones that bought Instacart,
absolutely,
we'll be seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah, if you purchased Instacart, I'm going to tell you now, check out your email. If it hasn't come into your email now, it will be in your junk. I fired over a link which will basically take you to the VIP Magic Jam, which is happening tomorrow o'clock. Tomorrow o'clock. But it is happening tomorrow o'clock. I don't know what that means. I've just made something up quite like. It's happening at 8 o'clock tomorrow. And check your email. You can join us there. So tomorrow o'clock.
Tomorrow o'clock.
Hey. Take care of yourself.
All right. Cheers, folks. See you all soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.